Hello, hello, welcome along to episode 14 of Beldania. That's a lot of episodes for you to still be level 4. What a shame.
Agreed.
Kind of, yeah. But
Good.
that's fine.
The pleasure is in the getting there, slowly but surely. I mean, we're still alive, are we not? And that is something. Today I have playing with me, Jodai.
I think that's me. I am Jedi Master. I play Hennick Littlefield, the halfling farmer and bard.
I have Jamal.
Hello, people. It's Jamalius Prime here. I'm playing Kiavo, the Order of the Scribes Leonin Wizard. Is that better, Josh?
You are a lot more cheerful, and you called yourself Jamalius Prime. I said that we're there now. Bruno!
Hello, I am playing Natasha Eyelet, Tasha for her friends, who is a life cleric, and today is back for Sandrigan Part 2, the Electric Boogaloo.
I have Rico.
That is me, I am Rico, and I will be playing Torin, the Dragonborn Paladin, who may sound a little sick this session, but that's okay.
And I have Josh. Sorry, I went to say Joe again. I was like, no, that's not right. I have Josh.
Hi guys, it's Josh. Today I'll be playing Sebastian Belmont. He's a sub-race of a tabaxi, and he's a wizard abjuration.
Thank you for your cheerful information. I have a note here. My only note on this page, which is my most recent page, just says Sebastian is on fire.
Yeah, I am. I have DM inspiration.
Oh, in that sense, yeah, because you had a really good session last week and we gave you DM inspiration. Yeah, I've just written Sebastian on fire, and that's it. Nothing else.
This cat is on fire.
Just checking I hadn't missed anything. Oh, when we left off last session, we just arrived in Sandringham. Arrived back home, and some visits were necessary. So we pick up right where we left off, which is sort of headed through the village, each person going their own way to their own place, I guess. Not necessarily to their homes, as some of you currently don't have those, but at least to places that feel like home and where home once was. So first of all, I'm going to travel with Hennick Littlefield. And as we round the corner and head towards what is home, we're able to see the remnants of home. Small parts of the house, sort of awkward parts of the house stand, you know. The edge of a wall here, a table leg there. A small part of a rocking chair out on the patio. Couple of dishes could be rescuable. Ladle lies askew. And as you look over to the tool shed, one wall stands. Leaning up against it is a trusty spade and a pitchfork. Not much else. And over to you.
Yeah, well, Hennick is, as always, more interested in the land itself that's there, the farm, rather than the building. So, without any real evidence of anything special to check into, he's not one to go sort of sift through the building, but will grab whatever tools are there, as you say, and just start to go through some of the field areas. And I mean, honestly, it's just he did a little bit of this before they left before, and it is just sort of okay. Literally, what has happened to the dirt in the last 2 weeks or whatever since we've been here? How are things doing in the soil? Checking through that ashiness, and he's sort of dug it up a little bit before, but getting down in there and seeing what can be done, what could potentially grow here in the future, what needs to be changed for that sort of thing. And I think that's just where he starts for quite a while.
Yeah. As you turn through the soil, the ash has sort of churned deeper into the land, giving it this sort of soft, almost spongy feel at the very top layer. It turns easily. I mean, it's prime planting season, right? We're coming up to spring. Is that prime planting season? People do plant things coming up to spring, right?
Yeah, for something, it's always planting season. Depends what.
Sure. That's the start you taught me anything though. Lots of things grow in spring.
Oh, yeah.
And flower in summer. So, yeah. As you sort of till this soil over, older gentleman comes and sort of, as you look away from the land, you notice that there was once this beautiful picket fence with a gate, right? And now there's a solitary gate post. And he sort of puts one hand on it and, begging your pardon, fella. Are you alright there?
Well, I think I'm just fine. How about yourself?
Aye, we've come on the Duke's new recommendations. There's an incentive for moving to Beldania. Moving to Beldania? Sure, yeah, that too. Moving to Sandringham. There's an incentive for moving to Sandringham. Startup costs, you know, home, that sort of thing. As long as we help in the rebuilding of the town and...
So, down from Harbondon then?
Well, somewhat in the province of... I'm not a city man. My village was taken by raiders a couple of weeks back. We're much closer to the mountains. Well, indeed, thank you. Luckily, we mostly got out. We mostly escaped unscathed, but we lost our homes. What bothered me most is I had the most beautiful garden. I've had to let go, and I'm looking to replant, and, well, the lady at the tavern said that old Green Thumbs himself had returned, and apparently he was referencing you. She was referencing you.
Yeah, returned. That is an interesting concept, isn't it? So they're not giving you folks the rebuilding that we're getting, huh?
No, those of us who were too close to the mountains, or too close to the borders, were told to head towards Sandringham and Morscombe, where it was going to be fortified and we'd be safer from raiders in the future. I think the Duke's incentive is to get us all sort of in a larger place that can be protected more easily than various small, spread out ones. Never been much of one for too much socializing, though. Not looking forward to having neighbors in every direction, but I can understand the sense of it.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting point you make there. I mean, you may be happier here than heading to the city, but it sounds disturbingly like there may not be as much difference as I'd like for long.
Indeed.
The soil's still there, though, of course.
How is it?
Well, another couple of rains and right amendments and moving some things about, choosing the right crops. It should be just fine.
What do you grow? Just vegetables, fruit, or do you grow flowers and plants as well?
Well, it's mostly been vegetables and grains, but occasionally something just for the pretty. How about yourself?
I cultivate mostly plants for medicinal purposes and such. I have some extra seeds. I just thought I'd come by and see if you were interested, and also get your advice on, how the soil is and whether it's ripe for the planting right now.
Well, I'll tell you, friend, if you're going to be in the area, and, well, I don't know exactly how long I'm going to be. I think I need to sort some things out for a few days and speak to some of the folks I've been away with, and supposing we go on our way again, I might be I could let you sort of lease out the property here if you'd be interested.
Oh, why, how fascinating. Well, indeed, I may well be interested, but where would you be going?
Well, I think that remains to be seen, but I don't know.
Come to enjoy life on the road?
I can't say that so much. But well, let me have a few days and see just whether home still seems to be the place that I would return to.
Indeed. Well, should you plant them on your travels or plant them here? As I say, these seeds are spare. And with that, he just puts a small pouch on the gatepost, gives you a nod, and
Thank
walks
you kindly.
onwards. For reference, he was an older human. He didn't give his name.
And I'm stupid, so I didn't ask. But that's
Oh, that's fine. He didn't ask yours either. Um, no, he was pointed in your direction. And we flick over to Natasha. As you sort of arrived home, everybody was gathered at the inn. And it seems that even the following morning, the same stays true. As you find yourself in the familiar place of behind the bar and interacting with the kitchen, you notice that both of your parents are interacting with you with a greater fondness than usual and less harsh words. They're glad to have you home. But it feels a little awkward. Like they're expecting you to dash off any minute and to try to make the best of the current moments. How's Natasha feeling?
It's happy to be home. Been a long time. She hasn't seen her parents. She probably misses being called Tasha, because obviously that's something only people that are really close to her would call her. And yeah, it's just there's a fondness of just being back where she started. She never really hated it. She never particularly wanted to leave. She just wanted to learn.
Indeed. And how is she feeling about the inn being so full and so popular now?
Very good. It's nice to see everyone back on their feet.
Yeah, it's taken some time. Sort of your mum turns around to you and explains that in the times of trouble when people had nowhere to sleep, the inn floor has been really where a lot of people have been resting. Tents were sort of leaned up against leant up against the outside of the tavern, and sort of to expand it to a larger space for a while, and things are kept very centralized in this place. There's little else going on. After a sort of a lull in the service, your father takes you aside. Natasha, your mum and I have to ask. We're just a little. We want to know where we stand. Are you home for good, or has the life of adventure taken you?
Well, I have nowhere else to go, so I guess I'm gonna be staying here for a while.
But you're not gonna go back on the road, shield in hand, and we'll have to stay at home and hope you don't die?
Well, I don't. That's very, very dark, Father.
Well, it's just you did charge off in such rapid fashion, and well, we were afraid. These are dark times.
Well, I did what I needed to do at the time, but with my newfound knowledge, I'm happy to be home and to be able to defend Sandringham.
Well, let us hope that doesn't need defending anymore. We've got a full unit of armed guards coming in. But
I don't trust the guards, Father.
no,
I
they're
have
good
seen
soldiers.
many things while traveling, and even the best of soldiers does not make the best of man.
No, that is true, but I think that I'd prefer them to the orcs.
Well, yes, obviously, Father, but what I'm trying to say is that in war, there are many things that go under rugs and are not addressed, at least properly. So I don't want the things that I've witnessed and the things that I've heard to transpose onto Sandringham. I don't want us to become like Harbondon.
Oh, you got a taste of city life and didn't like it, eh?
I've got a taste of different people. I don't think it was the city, it's those who those who run it.
It can be hard to find simple, honest folk these days. And we flick at this point over to Torin. Torin, I wonder, as someone who doesn't really have a home to return to, what are you doing? This is the following morning after returning home to Sandringham. Is there anywhere specific that Torin would turn to go?
Yeah, so Torin, under the recommendation of one of the traveling merchants that they had met back at the crossroads, is looking for the Tanners, Rorik and Sandra.
Indeed. They have their home back. It's a little ramshackle right now. You can see that it's been built around two walls that were still standing. And two sort of walls have been added onto that and not fitted brilliantly to it, and a roof has been slapped on the top by some form of craft that you don't really recognize. And sure enough, outside, the smell comes to you before anything else, as you notice hanging outside a large hides, sort of in the tanning process at various different points. Yeah, you don't see them outside.
I'll approach the small house and I'll tap on the door. Hello.
Yeah. And pretty soon the door opens, and there stands this sort of large, sort of beefy fella, thick ginger beard, ginger hair, and Rorik sort of looks at you and, well, good day. Might I help you?
Hail, friend. You must be Rorik.
Well, indeed.
Is that right?
Yes. And you're Torin. We did live in the same village for quite a long time, Torin.
How do we?
Yes, yeah. Further occasionally use my leathers.
Well, I suppose I'd never really required the employ of a tanner before, so...
and you do now?
Well, I do you one more. I seek to learn from you, my good man.
Oh, indeed. Well, first thing is we get started very early in the morning. At 5 a.m.-ish. Perhaps, yeah, I could exchange, the work of your younger back for, a little bit of knowledge.
Gladly,
Why don't you swing by at dawn tomorrow morning?
Fantastic. Could I leave my, and I'll pull out my sort of, this bag that I've been sort of hoarding all of these pelts and hides and teeth in.
Oh, indeed, how interesting. Yes, I'll try and remain nothing but curious until the morning, and then we can have a little look through together and see what we can do with some of this stuff. But as I said, the work is mostly of the early morn, as well, during the day. Well, Henrik is quite a handful. And he gestures over his shoulder, and over his shoulder you can see this small sort of tyke in like dungarees, and sort of little ginger hair, just running round in circles in the kitchen, being chased by this sort of very slow-looking, exasperated woman. Yes, we sort of have our hands full with that.
Understandable indeed. I'll be
Tell you,
back.
If those orcs return, I'll just set my little man out there, and then all have enough of him.
He looks like a seasoned warrior already.
Indeed. So he thinks. Well, it's good to see you, Torin, and I look forward to seeing you in the morning.
Thank you, Rorik. I will be back.
As you come out of the Tanners and you're headed across town, Torin, you sort of see a hand gesturing at you and coming towards you. This person is wearing sort of reinforced ringmail. It's quite a fancy set of armor, but it also looks extremely heavy. And he's got this sort of large warhammer at his back, and you see his bulging biceps as he gestures over to you. And that got Bruno's attention. And he sort of, as you arrive, sorry, didn't mean to trouble you, friend. You'd be Torin, right? Torin Goldenbrand?
Aye, that I am.
Aye.
Did you hear of me?
Well, not so much heard of you. I'm looking for you. And he pulls out a sort of rolled scroll, and hands it over to you. From the frontier.
The frontier, you say?
I'd best be back on my way. I've got to get down to the war front, but yes.
And I'll sort of be like, is this from Yorkrath?
It's best you read it yourself.
I see. Sort of like look down and let him just like completely ignore him and begin
Yeah.
opening the letter.
Yeah, he sort of stands back a couple of steps and he begins to look out to the sort of wind and in the far distance he's looking at the storm clouds. You can see his mind has turned to the battlefront. And indeed, as you open the letter, it is written in Draconic. And it simply says, Yorkrath has been taken over the border. We'd like to mount an expedition. The Yuan-Ti are not, as we've been told, they are not savages, nor are they blindly murdering. But they are tactical and they are clever. This may simply be an expedition to pay a ransom. But we would like some of his kin at our sides. We've heard that recently you've been adventuring and we hope that you might be able to get down here. And then there's a little strange inscription. It sort of says KL. And then a sort of unusual shield. You don't recognize it.
KL.
Yeah,
Could
I
it
mean,
be-
it
Could
doesn't
it be
look
from
like
Gaelic?
it doesn't look like initials. It looks more like a sort of. It looks like there should be 3 letters in this word, and the third one is a symbol. Something you've not seen before.
Okay. Ooh, that's concerning. I'm going to fold up the paper, stick it in my pocket, and I suppose Torin would probably go looking for somebody that he
Mhm.
knows.
Yep.
I.e., somebody in the party.
Well, talking about somebody in the party, Kiava, where are you at? Morning after you arrived.
I think I'd be at the house that's still intact and
Mhm.
going through things and looking and sort of seeing if there's anything I could realistically use for the time being, read and learn from. 'Cause
Yeah,
there's-
there's plenty of books on that bookshelf that although you might have read, like now you've been out in the world and you've seen some things and like maybe you've put some stuff together and as you come back, maybe you're even...
context.
Yeah, well, maybe even you're asking the opinion of your lovely vocal book on some of them. Sort of understanding stuff with new meaning. For example, there are in books of old... a book that says, of old magics. You see mention to the way of the path a couple of times. And before you'd always just thought of this as some strange old tradition, but now you remember that indeed those are the 27 different spots of the path, right? That were once followed, that you've taken such an interest in recently. And obviously you'll be looking over your old scrolls. So basically, Torin, Chiavo's going to be at home with his nose in a book, whatever you want to call upon him. What about Sebastian? Is he also nose in book, or is he perhaps hand in air, waving it around like you just don't care, doing magic?
What are you asking me what I've been doing?
Well, I don't necessarily what you've been doing, because it is the following morning after you've just arrived. But more what you are doing.
Okay, yeah. I just want to say before I do start that vomit flavored bean was disgusting, and I
Oh,
don't know
really?
how to get the flavor out of my mouth.
There was me thinking it was going to be sumptuously tasty.
I just didn't think. I thought it was gonna be like a joke, like ha ha ha. No, the joke was on me.
The joke's on you. It was genuinely a vomit bean.
Anyways,
For reference, Josh has been eating Bertie Bott's every flavor beans, and he doesn't believe that they're going to taste like the flavors they say they will.
Ass.
would you ever put vomit in a flavor?
It's meant to be random. You're meant to shovel them up and put your hand in and not know what you're going to get and stick it in and then go, ah!
I mean, you got them, Josh.
I brought them
Okay.
for
Oh, you
the
lied.
candy floss and for the lemon.
What's Sebastian doing?
What the day after arriving?
Morning after, yeah.
Morning after he's arriving. Well, he's obviously probably stayed at home with his
Uh-huh.
mum and And then he'd probably head over to Torrens, and probably trick him, asking him like to tell him all about his grandfather and the history of his sword and all the battles. And
Okay, can I stop you there? If you head over the following morning to ask him about his grandfather's sword, I'm assuming he's going to speak to you about matters more important right now. Indeed, Torin, as you said, you were looking for somebody. Somebody was looking for you. The two of you bump into each other just sort of outside Hennick's old garden. As you're both walking down the road, sort of passing ways, you can see Hennick is tilling the land next to you, and yeah, I pass over to the three of you. Yeah.
Sebastian, Hennick.
Corin, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Horrible news afoot. May we step inside, Hennick?
He doesn't have an inside.
No inside,
I know,
unfortunately, Torin. But
I was gonna look over and be like,
Torin.
perhaps outside then.
it's just fine out here.
And I'll bust out the letter. I guess I couldn't really hand it to them, so I'll sort of dictate it to Hennick and Sebastian, basically. At the end of it, and I'll say, so in summary, they have my uncle, the Yonti.
Well, that's definitely troubling news. Boy, it's worrisome, but I'm not so sure it's of a size for us to handle. I don't know. What do y'all think?
Well, regardless of the, I was gonna say, regardless of the size of the work, something must be done, and you seem to have quite a way about you, Hennick, an eloquence, a simple eloquence that the Yonti respect. Natasha as well.
Yeah, bear in mind one of the things in the letters sort of is addressed to Torin, and it's sort of saying, sorry, I'm echoing quite badly. It is sort of saying to Torin, this might not, they don't think it's going to be a dangerous mission. They more think it's going to be a diplomatic mission. And they think that somebody who's Dragonborn should be there.
Right. And Torin, just being Torin, would be like, oh, I need my friends there then.
It's so strange that you say this, Torin, because I was just coming to find you to ask you if you could tell me some more of those stories of, your family and the battles that they would participate in, and, the family sword that you,
Sebastian,
that you love so much.
Now is not the time. Now is not the time. Perhaps I can...
Go ahead, please.
I was going to say, perhaps I can regale you on our journey out to the warfront.
Yeah, that sounds fine. And then Sebastian is able to itch, and he'll look away and be like, oh, did you hear that? That's actually my mum. And it, mid-sentence, he'll just walk off.
I'll sort of watch him go away and turn my attention back to Hennick, as if nothing happened.
Well, despite my reluctance, it seems like maybe I have a bit more commitment to the matter at hand than some, but if it's a matter of talking, yeah, I think that's something we might be able to handle. I know that some of the others were thinking of heading in perhaps almost the opposite direction, and there are some adventures over those ways. Those maps we found led down to the south, I believe, and well, there's some things I might like to pursue off to the east as well, but if your uncle is in trouble and it's a matter of just speaking to some people, it seems like something maybe we should deal with.
Hennick, my good man, if you would help me in this matter, I would follow you to the ends of the earth. Down south and out east, and whatever adventure you could dream of.
I always thought this pretty much here was the end of the earth in terms of as far as I'd like to take it. I don't know. Let's see what all the others think.
Aye. Aye. Let us, perhaps we could convene at the islets.
Yeah, and talking or no, I don't know if I'd be heading off to the front without her shield in front of me.
Aye.
At this particular moment, for convenience sake, Kiavo will be dropping down to Natasha's parents just to pick up some lunch, so that you can all bump into each other. Where has Sebastian run off to?
He didn't run anywhere.
Where has he trotted off to?
He glacially paced back home. Like he only left for one purpose, and since that one purpose was denied, he's just gone back home to fuck around with magic.
Okay, I'm sure if the group make a decision, they can go and collect Sebastian on their way. And he'll be perfectly amenable to going down to the warfront, despite the fact he didn't have a conversation about it.
Well, Sebastian wants to go there anyways to go see Furlock, so that's fine.
Yeah. Cool. Leaving Sebastian to it. Cool.
Let's say that while Henrik and Torin were walking towards the islets, and they just basically like happened upon Sebastian moving extremely slowly, and I just like picked him up by the scruff of his neck, put him on my shoulder.
That works.
As you do, I'm just gonna like sit there and be like, we should really stop bumping into each other like this.
Nevertheless, you all convene in the front of the tavern, and before Natasha can even get anywhere near you, suddenly her mother is upon you all.
Can I get a quick question in?
Yeah.
Has it been a few weeks, or has it just been 2 days?
It's not even been 2 days. It has been 12 hours since you arrived in Sandringham. I asked your downtime because if you remember, we're going to do that in the middle of the session. Before Natasha can even get to the table where you guys walk in, Natasha's mother is upon you all. And, come in. Can I get you some drinks? Can I get something to eat? You must be so tired. It's been such a long journey. How are you all?
Mom.
One moment, I'm talking.
Mom, there's a fire in the kitchen.
It can wait. And then she looks down to Henrik, and you've been taking care of my daughter, right?
Well, I mean, quite the opposite on many occasions, I have to say, ma'am.
You've been taking care of my son?
Well.
What? Mom?
Oh, you said the opposite.
No, on the contrary, my dear.
So,
She's been taking care of us quite a bit, actually. Natasha's, she's got.
Oh.
Now.
Sorry, my Discord crashed. Hello, I'm back. Bear with me a second. Exciting. Sorry, you said quite the opposite, and then I made a stupid joke. But after that, you said Natasha.
Yeah, we're just that she's handling herself quite well. She's often taking care of us in many respects.
My daughter taking care of you all. And with this, she turns and she sort of prods a finger equally into the center of Kiavo and Oren's chests. You big fellows are letting my daughter look after you. You look after her. And then she sort of glares at you, and the soup of the day is mushroom.
We actually brought
it's carrot.
We actually brought a housewarming gift, and to ease the tension, Sebastian will very reluctantly hand over a bottle of very fine wine.
Ooh.
Oh, thank you. And yes, sorry, it's carrot. I'm gonna go back to the kitchen. Apparently it's on fire. And she sort of looks at Natasha like, I can see the damn kitchen from here. It's not on fire, but I'm going anyway. And she sort of, right as she gets sort of at maximum distance from the table, she looks back and, you should be taking care of her. So walks back into the kitchen. And we find the 5 of you together. There are 5 of you, yeah? Right, cool. There are 5 of you. Good.
So sorry about that. What can I get you today?
Natasha, I want to apologize. Perhaps you'd prefer if your mother would just think what she wants to think. It's not usually my way, though. I like to be open about things, and I think that it's fair that you get your credit.
Don't worry, Henrik. It just mom things. It happens. It's
I
not your
suppose
fault.
it's one of the virtues of heading out on adventure is that you can do what you have to do, and she won't be looking over your shoulder all the time.
Yes, and one of the sins is coming back home and having to tell her everything.
Well, unfortunately, it seems like we might not be able to stay too long. Torin's got some unfortunate news here. We need to discuss, and thought everyone ought to be involved.
Oh, where are you going?
I fear perhaps the war front, Natasha. Yonti lands.
Oh, should I prepare some meals for you to take? Is that why you've come here today?
In fact, I was hoping that you would prepare your shield and mace. Join us on the fronts.
You want to leave again?
Yes, they've taken my uncle, you see.
Oh. Well, that changes things slightly. Give me a second. And I'll go upstairs to my room, pack my stuff real quick, put on my armor, which will probably be like a good 10 minutes before I come back down, just following the rules. But if you allow it,
What
James,
armor do you have?
well,
Isn't it like a
I-
shitty piece of like one piece of leather over the front?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I was
I'm just
my
like,
heavy armor.
yeah, it's just like this tabard made of leather. Yeah, no, it takes about 10 seconds.
She'll come back down and say, "Mom, I need someone to cover my shifts." And then I'll sit down at the table. Where are we going?
And you just hear your father's voice echoing out from the kitchen as he turns to me. I told you she'd be off if we didn't pin her down.
Oh dear.
I have to. It's the right thing to do.
Oh, well, to the borders, Natasha, but I didn't mean right exactly now.
Oh,
Didn't
so,
you?
like in an hour?
Did I?
Oh, I thought you did.
Oh, okay.
You can mean in a day if you wish, but I didn't think you'd want
Ah.
your uncle to remain stuck in enemy territory for a
No, I guess not, actually. Okay, never mind. Yeah, no.
single minute, more than you had to.
Does the letter refer to where exactly we should be reporting to?
It tells you to go down to the main. I'm sorry, I'm having so many technical problems. Tells you to go down to the main war camp, and sort of the huge fellow with a warhammer has sort of mentioned that if you get down to the war front, you can always ask for him.
Okay.
And his name was Boric.
Boric.
Like that.
Let's go.
Is that somebody else?
Not to be
Have I
confused with
accidentally doubled up on a name?
No, I just like the name Boric. It's so good.
Oh, good. Right, okay. Just sitting there going, shit, have I accidentally called him Gimli or something? Cool.
Before we do go, though, I'd like to show Chiavo the letter, specifically to where it's signed, and ask if he knows anything
I'm so proud
in
of you.
relation to the shield. Or
Look at my clever little plan. Chiavo, as you look to this mark, in fact, it will be more familiar to you than to anybody else. It is a regular mark in terms of Leonin languages. And as you studied a fair few languages, you would have seen this sort of mark a few times. Whilst it resembles a shield, it also, in some respects, resembles sort of a shield if somebody had placed it sort of down upon the ground and knelt behind it. Go ahead and give me an intelligence check to see how much of this you know. You definitely know some stuff. A history check, sorry.
History check.
You definitely know some of this, but I want to know if you know all of it.
That's 16 for the history.
Okay, so with it, with a 16 for the history check, no, that is not how that works, Shima.
No, no, sorry.
No, it's a 12.
Sorry, yeah.
So you know that this means shield, brother. And as you look to the two letters beforehand, it means shield brother to a cow, which could in Leonin language mean a king, though I think it means something different in the Draconic language. You think it means something different in the Draconic language. I know what it means. What am I about?
So it's shield brother to something.
To a cow. Kal.
K-A-L.
Now, I think immediately, Torin, you would recognize that Cal obviously is a very respect and deferential term. Your grandfather was a Cal, correct?
He was.
Um,
Kalgorath.
So it is signed by a shield brother to a Cal. If you knew what do you call them? The things that are on the shields, the herald.
Oh, like the heraldry of the shield.
If you knew the heraldry that's on the shield, you'd know to whom the shield brother is, right?
Got you.
Shield brother to the Cal of, and then that's herald, but you don't know what the herald is because, well, it's been a while since you were up in Draconic land.
Yeah. And I don't imagine Torn paid very much attention to
No.
learning the heraldry of
You
houses.
got as far as it's not the golden brand and it's not the golden skins. It's not the king and it ain't you. That's all you really care about.
Exactly. Interesting. Well, then we shouldn't take this letter to be light. Are you all ready?
I think ready is a stretch, but willing, perhaps?
Thank you, Brother Hennick. And I'll reach my hand out. Just fucking...
Swamp my entire arm in your hand?
Exactly.
Actually, I can't go. Yeah. I plan on being ill that day, so...
That day is today, Sebastian.
That's okay,
Nonsense.
Sebastian. I can cure it.
Oh, I'm so tickly.
No problem. I'm going to cast.
You can do, but also give me a medicine check at the same time, brother.
All right. Well, that's a 27. No, sorry, 24.
He's about as ill as the table.
Perhaps some fresh air. Perhaps some fresh air, Sebastian.
You know what? That's right. I will go out and get some fresh air. You all stay here. I will be back.
Can I ask?
Oh, let's not bother. Let's walk together.
Can I ask the player? What's behind Sebastian's reluctance to go to the front? Like, what's his thinking here?
It's not that he doesn't want to go. He just doesn't want to go right now.
Oh, okay. So he's just sort of being lazy and deferring it,
Yeah, he's just being flippant.
despite the fact that Torin obviously is quite worried and feels this is quite important.
Yeah.
How nice of him. I'm sure we'll find a way to drag Sebastian along. Is it fair to say that preparations are few and far between for the rest of you?
I'm ready to go.
I mean, to be fair, if Torrent, like, I'm not gonna fight. If Torrent picks me up and puts me on a car, I'm not gonna jump off.
I'm definitely going to pick you up and put you on a card for sure. Yeah.
Sebastian, your skills at messing with people are too good for a small town, quite frankly, much as I love them. You need bigger game.
Yes, indeed. Larger aspirations.
I suppose I'm not gonna expand my place in the Hall of Fame, because I can't remember what the place was actually called, by staying here.
That's the spirit, my good man. Let's go.
And I do want to
Diablo,
go.
are you ready? Bring your little friend along, and we shall depart.
Okay, I'll just make my last preparations then.
In my head, Chiavo's just looked up from a book and just been like, yeah, sure, he has no idea to what he's agreed.
Yeah, pretty much.
See, for me, Chiavo's looked up from above and gone, how did I get here?
Pretty much. I'm sure I was coming for lunch. Where the fuck's the soup?
I was gonna say, where's my lunch? What the fuck?
Really sorry. I've forgotten your mother's name. Isn't that rude of me?
It would be rude if I hadn't forgotten it either.
Okay.
My mother's name is
It's
Talia.
Telia, right? Or Talia, sorry, yeah. As Talia was sort of just about to come out the kitchen with bowls of soup, immediately retreats at one moment and then starts putting them into water skins so that each of you can take them on the road. And then, like, sort of into Torin's hand, she just shoves a sack full of loaves of bread. There's like 14 in there, and some dried meat, and she's just like, "You must eat well on the way."
Yes, ma'am. Of course.
Okay, and you look after my daughter, and she prods you 3 times in the chest, and
Yes,
and then sort of
yes,
turns you and pushes you out the door.
Mother,
Don't you die on me, all right? You stay safe.
before I go, I need you to do something for me.
Of course, anything.
I'm gonna pull out the lump sum of money. Can you give this to the builders to speed up the process of Sandringham?
You didn't steal this, did you?
No, Mother. And if you don't give it to the builders, I'll know because I'm pretty sure I'm going to come back more powerful, and I've been reading on a spell called Zone of Truth.
I've never seen so much money.
Yes,
What,
and it's not for you.
No, of course not. Why would I do that? That's you know me better than that, Natasha. I'm just thinking, I can't give it to one builder because, well, they might run off with it, and I can't give it to some of the less trustworthy builders, and perhaps I need to give it to some of the people that are paying the builders because I don't really know. I'll make
You
sure
may
that it's
give it to
used for the
someone.
rebuilding of Sandringham. Kelvin's in Harbondon, but I'll speak to Ogren. He'll know best. He always does. And I'll work it out. I promise you. I'll be nice and fair and honest, and I'll look after it well. But Natasha, does anybody else know that this money's here?
No.
Okay, good. Because, well, I wouldn't want anybody to. I wouldn't want to be the center of an attack. Don't worry.
Alright, well,
Don't worry. I'll
give
keep
the
it.
money back.
No. She says
No, I
it's okay.
insist.
No. If it's okay. We've got plenty of money hidden already. We can hide some more. It's not a problem. I'll put it in the back of the oven with the rest.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Can I roll
we
a
once hit.
perception check?
Yeah, we once hit a man who was on the run. 3 days. We kept him in the cellar. I
And
put
I'm
him in a
gonna
barrel
guide
of beer.
this.
Perception check. What are you percepting?
I want to see if anyone's listening to this conversation. I got a 26.
Oh, you're in the kitchen. The one of the serving girls sort of ran in and out. She might have caught she might have caught the very beginning bit where you were like, you need to give it to the builders, but she hasn't seen the money because she was at the back, right? And she was going out the other way, and she certainly would have heard anything about the hiding place. Your mum said that very quietly. And actually, as you look up, you see your father standing in the doorway between the kitchen and the bar. And you can see that although he's heard most of the conversation, he is checking that nobody is coming into the kitchen.
Are there any windows in the kitchen?
No.
Okay,
There's a chimney, but
Can I check the chimney?
it's got a large furnace at the bottom, and anybody trying to listen in would have very burnt ears.
I'm just checking because I don't want to
No,
come
no,
back
no.
and you're like, actually, your inn is
No,
burning
no.
down.
If anything, it's the other way round. I'm reassuring you that she's perfectly capable of looking after it,
Okay,
but she's going to
okay.
make sure she delegates it carefully.
Cool.
She just wanted to check with you that you hadn't run off from some
Whew.
rich man with this money, and he's
What
going
if
to
I
come looking
did?
for it. Yeah, indeed. She'll savage them with a frying pan. So as the group is already headed back out. Oh, how soon?
Actually, before we go, I would like to let my mum and dad know that I'm.
That's probably sensible. I think you'll be escorted by everyone to make sure that you come back out the house. You can head down to mum and dad and let them know, and sort of your mum sort of turns around and, okay. I thought you were staying for a while. I prepared a lovely dinner.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Taco fan. I don't know. You made me think too fast. I wasn't ready. That was a callback to Friday's session. Sorry.
Can you wrap that up for me?
I had only got it ready. I hadn't cooked it yet.
Oh.
It'll be ready for you when you come home.
No, you and Dad have a nice meal. I actually brought you this, and I'll hand over my chamomile. Since I'm not gonna be fucking using it.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Okay. She sort of looks at you, and this would make for an excellent herbal tea. Quite good for adventuring on the road. Well, One day I'll have to teach you those arts, or at least teach one of your friends so they can look after you properly.
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks, Mom.
Maybe that Chiavo boy. He seems a bit. Well, he's got his. He hasn't got much else of a purpose, does he?
No, like he's a bit cack-handed. He can barely hold his own spell book. And he kind of like Sebastian will turn and like look a bit Chiavo. See, he's not even fucking listening.
Oh, that Hennick one's quite good with herbs, no? Maybe I'll get onto him or something. I don't know. But I do want you to be given the proper teas. Otherwise you won't grow healthy and... I wonder if they work on...
Mum, don't worry. I have all the tea.
She looks at you and... Oh, well, very well then. But safe travels, Sebastian?
What's wrong?
I just thought you were going to stay a little bit longer, and I should be ready for you to disappear on a whim, but, well, frankly, I'm not. At this point, your father sort of comes and puts his hand on her shoulder, and he'll be fine. He'll be back soon enough. Exploding the bedroom and blowing up the garden and doing whatever he does.
Never did those things.
No, but you know, small explosions, small noises, loud booms. And he sort of turns to your mother and, you know, he's perfectly capable. I know, but he's growing up so fast. I'm gonna miss it all, and I like seeing him here. And then they continue. Sebastian, you can leave. They'll be going for a while. Oh.
I'm gonna cast mirror image on myself,
Mhm.
and all four of us will in a circle hug Mum and Dad.
Aw, sweet. And with that, she sort of... Alright, good luck. Wait, Sebastian! You haven't told me where you're going.
Oh, so there's this summer camp for mages and their companions. My companions.
But it's the middle of January!
Well, it's a long travel. By the time we get there, it'll be summer.
You're gonna be gone for a year?
Well, who knows what I'll learn? I might be able to come back in the blink of an eye.
Oh no! I can't handle this. And her father sort of pulling her backwards. And... as the group of you convene outside, and it's not actually a very long walk to the warfront. Couple of hours. I assume that Pony and Cart are not coming to the warfront.
Oh, okay.
Or are they? You can take Black Radish to the
no,
warfront.
but where is this?
Okay,
I thought
so...
it was on the other side of Harbondon, and Harbondon is a day away.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I'm taking you there from Harbondon, you right. Yes. It's 2 hours from Harbondon. It's a day to Harbondon. I'd switched Harbondon and Sandringham in my head for some reason.
The war could have gotten wherever it was. I just didn't know what was going on.
No. The warfront that you're headed to, the little camp, is actually where the party counter is right now. So indeed, you can head straight back down the road you came down yesterday. And take rest in Harbondon in the Night's Inn, and we'll sort of fast forward through that because there's no real need to pay any attention to the travel of the road. From Harbondon, it's a 2-hour journey out. I really don't know how I got those two switched around. And you are able to get down to what is a sort of martial camp. You see hundreds of tents. And at the center of which is this huge sort of red and gold palisade tent, which you would assume is for a general or sergeant. But more importantly, as you reach the camp sort of front, all around you notice that there are pickets, and the guards are patrolling and stopping people as they get near. And indeed, a guard comes and stops you. He's a stout dwarf in full plate mail armor, and he sort of pulls his helm, the face of his helm up, and who might you be?
Greetings, Rand. Torin Goldenbrand. I seek Borich.
Borich. Third platoon? Big muscular guy, right?
Aye.
He's got a dwarven hammer. That's how I know him. Suspicious. I don't remember him paying for it. Anyway, you'll find him on the 6th watch, and he expects you to work out what that is, as he pulls his helm down and continues on his patrol.
Uh,
I
I'll
don't
we'll
think.
move into the direction that he at least pointed in. And
Yep, cool.
ask
So
around.
he's pointed around the outside of the wall, and indeed, as you get to the next post, a gentleman, sort of quite tall, with a nice thin sort of helmet with one of those silly feather plumes on the top, looks at you. Good day. Who might you be?
Good day, sir. Torrin Goldenbrand.
Oh, indeed. Is that somebody of relevance?
Well, I should hope one day.
Hmm. Well, one day's not today. What do you want?
I've received this letter. And I'll show him the letter and I'll say, I seek a Borich.
It's written in weird symbols. And he passes it back to you. Load of nonsense. Can't read it. You're looking for who?
Borich.
Borich. He's on the 6th watch.
Hi, could you direct me?
Oh, this is the 4th watch. That's the 3rd watch, and he points back towards the dwarves. If you can't work out the rest yourself, then frankly you're not deserving of finding him. And he sort of, with that, he sort of puts his feather in the air, and he begins again marching rigidly to the right and left. You can see the soldiers behind him are just like, they're the veterans, right? He's the idiot noble who's paid for his position. And one of the soldiers leans over to him. Borich is a good man. He's 2 watches over on the left.
Thank you, mate.
And you sort of, I'm assuming you're going to bypass the 5th watch.
Yes. for now.
Excellent. That's wonderful. And as you get to the 6th watch, you see, whereas everywhere else had like a platoon of guards, like 20 or 30, this has 2. You see a really gruff-looking dwarf. He's wearing sort of light armor, and he's got this huge crossbow that he's leaning on. Like it's to the point that he's got his chin on at one end, and it's leaning against the ground. And next to him is this gigantic man who you've seen before, Borich, with a huge warhammer. And as he sees you, he sort of hefts his warhammer and... Torrin!
Borich.
You came then.
Aye, that I did. And I've brought friends. The mightiest of companions. And I'll sort of like present like the little cat.
He raises an eyebrow at the
a
cat and the
little
halfling, and...
Yeah.
Well...
the barmaid and the lion scholar.
An interesting collection of folk. I'm sure they'll find their own ways to serve their purposes. I won't be going with you. I must remain on guard here, but... Well, this here's Ivan.
Greetings,
Yeah.
Ivan.
It is he that can lead you to the person who wrote that letter.
Well, I look forward to working with you.
Ivan looks at you and
Yes, a
Hey,
man
looks-
of action.
looks around to everybody else. They're important.
I beg your pardon?
Are
I
they
think
important?
If that's your manner of speaking to folk, then for a negotiation like this, then yes, we are rather important.
Negotiating.
Yes, no,
Spits on the
no
floor.
finer diplomats.
That right. And then he pats his arbalest crossbow and... I call her the diplomat.
Aye, a fine name.
And
I'll pat my my sword. Bahamut's Fang. Sword of Khal Gorath. My grandfather.
pretentious. He picks up the huge crossbow, sort of cracks on his back. And he nods over this way. And again, he responds, he looks over to Hennigan. You'll be doing the talking. I'll be doing the keeping you alive, Pansy.
Both of those sound just fine.
You can see he's got a hand axe at each hip, a light hammer, sort of hanging across his chest, and this huge arbalest on his back. And he begins to lead you towards the forest and the trees. Pretty soon you can hear the sounds of battle coming upon you. And you see this sort of purple smoke, right? Ivan turns to you. Yeah?
As we walk through the forest, I'm gonna pluck a couple of leaves.
You haven't got there yet, you're walking towards it, but sure. Get there in a minute. He nods towards, like, the purple smoke. Strange things. This way. And he leads you along the warfront. You see people hacking, slashing, dying, awful things going on. One thing you will notice immediately, though, Torrin, if you go ahead and give me an insight, perception check, sorry.
Perception?
Yeah, perception.
I don't perceive anything.
No. One thing you'll notice immediately is that there's a war front over there. Cool. And you guys are led to what appears to be a small sort of hut. It's got like mud works on one side, and then like down the other side is this sort of ramshackle hut. And it's got no door, and sitting on the inside is a silver dragonborn who leans upon a fine broadsword.
Do I recognize him?
No, you've never seen him before. He takes a deep bow to you, and Master Goldenbrand.
I reciprocate,
Hmm.
and I'll say, "Greetings. I'm afraid I don't know your name, friend."
No, perhaps you wouldn't. Well, be that as it may, I'll be taking you over the border. And he nods again. You see that he's wearing a sort of breastplate that's got intricate markings on it in Draconic Scroll. It looks like he's a servant to a very, very rich family, effectively, right? He's a bodyguard to a very rich family. If Torin had been to the lands of the Dragonborn, he might have seen people like this waiting upon the king. But he is definitely not aligned to the Golden Skins, as you know that from the heraldry. I'm afraid that my name is my own to keep, though. Well,
That's very mysterious, brother. Was it you who wrote this letter?
indeed. For now, you may call me Marich, though it is not my first name I go by.
Fine enough, marriage.
Come,
Lead the way.
we have an appointment to meet. And with that,
What exactly is the nature of this appointment? Before we get there, I think we'd like to know a little bit more about what's going on.
Indeed, I'm sure you would. But, he looks to Ivan, and Ivan gives him the nod. Very well. We're heading over to your Anti-Lands because somebody there wishes to speak to one Torin Goldenbrand. And his friends. We believe that they took Yorkrath specifically to arrange this meeting.
I'm afraid I don't know any UNT. Well, except perhaps one.
We've dealt with a few.
The mere fact that you have spoken with Yuanti instead of so kniving them in the guts means something.
Fair enough.
It's good to know we were specifically expected before we head in there. Let's go.
You'll all need to take these. And he hands you a sort of, it looks like a small package that's stuffed full of, I'll wait for Bruno. He hands you a small package that's stuffed full of crushed herbs. And just force it down with some water. It'll stop you from becoming one of those idiots. And he nods towards all the people hacking and slashing at each other on the frontier.
Whatever do you mean?
Yuanti provided this to me. It seems that a lot of the people that fight at the frontier become mindless. This'll stop that from happening. We don't know why. We don't know how.
Not the strangest thing I've choked down in order to talk to these folks, so down it goes.
Okay, is anybody not going to take the herbs that they're being told will keep them sane? Wow.
No, I'm definitely going to be taking the herbs.
I really thought that our group, given my players, like 3 of you would refuse, but as characters, they're all very sensible.
Would I be able to just have a look through the herbs and, just...
They're packed up quite tightly in this package. You notice a couple. You see Harada leaf, and you know that this sort of can cause brief euphoria. You notice milkweed seeds. These are usually part of a powerful healing mixture. And you notice nightshade berries, which are usually used to render somebody unconscious.
So,
Interesting concoction.
full disclosure, everyone. This has nightshade berries, which lead to people being unconscious. Could I just make a nature check to see how much of the contents is actually nightshade?
How well do you know your alchemical herbs?
Not a lot, which is why I'm asking to do a
No.
check.
May I
I
assist
think
that?
maybe Chiavo can give me an alchemy check. That might make more sense, as he's the potions dude.
That's a 9.
Okay, Chiavo will quickly reel off to you that it also contains celia beans, tail leaf, verdant nettle, lavender sprig, hydra thistle, fiends, ivy, emetic wax, and cosmian glons. And then will promptly remind you that he's completely forgotten what any of them do.
Now, could I do a nature check and see if I can remember any of them?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a nature check. We'll see what heads or tails you can make of this.
Well, I got a 6, so that's not gonna work, is it?
There's some plants here.
Yeah.
May
You
I
know that some of them are
assist
no,
you?
between the two of you, all you'll ever achieve is knowing that some of them are poisonous, and some of them are incredibly healing.
Well-
Some of them are rare.
I'm gonna take a guess, Kiavo, that they will hopefully cancel each other out.
My hope would be much the same. Can I give it a quick sniff?
You can do, but you can also just look to Torin, who's
Through-
took his
yeah,
straight away.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Throughout this
Me
whole
too.
thing, I'm just trying to. Oh, I feel fine.
Well, it might take a good 10-15 minutes for the...
Judging by Hennick's body size, if it was going to happen, it would have happened to Hennick compared to Chiavo. You'll be fine.
Alright, then I'll take
Yeah.
mine as well.
Yeah, I'll take mine then. I just wanted to add this little bit of air of caution to it, considering...
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, we didn't know what was there.
Yeah, and you will begin to walk towards the purple smoke. Within the haze, at this point, Torin, you can't miss it. These people who are slashing at each other, they're not even raising their shields to defend. They're just simply wildly swinging, trained soldiers. Swinging like 5-year-olds with wooden swords. Ivan sort of shakes his head and spits on the ground. Don't look. Keep walking.
What's happened to them, Ivan?
I didn't have these herbs.
Oh.
And they
And-
can't be
and-
treated after?
Mm.
And it's the same for both sides.
Mm. The marriage turns to you, and it would seem that way.
How many are there fighting there right now?
From where you're standing, the line appears endless in both directions.
Jesus Christ, okay.
However, suspiciously, this particular bit at the front just seems completely abandoned. There's just like a nice little gap left for you. Or not so suspiciously. Roll initiative.
Oh. Oh.
Okay.
And as you guys enter into the purple smoke a little further, suddenly emerging from your west are Yuanti. But these Yuanti don't look like the ones who are hacking and slashing wildly to your left. Instead, you see they're beautifully armored. They have fabulous swords, bows, crossbows. Some of them wear this strange sort of half mask of silvered metal. Within moments, they're upon you. And without questioning at all, a blue-skinned Yuanti. We're not going to use a battle map for this, as it's sort of you're all in range of everyone right now. Maybe we can do a quick battle map.
Is it safe to say that when we started getting closer to the area, I cast Mage Armor?
Yeah, of course. I don't think there's a chance that you wouldn't have mage armored here.
Do you want me to roll for the hours?
Oh, yeah, that's a point. Go ahead and roll me your D. Are you at a D6? You're at a D6, right?
I think I'm higher.
I think you're at a D6 plus 6, I believe, right now. Yeah, go ahead, give me a D6 plus 6.
The 4.
Okay. Oh, for God's sake. I'm not going to bother with the battle map, guys. This is going to be too much effort. Let's do it in our heads. You got a 4, so that's 10 hours of mage armor. And this blue-skinned Yuanti sort of charges up to Natasha. Immediately, Natasha, you notice that Ivan sort of leans on his arbalest like this. And Marriage steps to the side and takes 2 steps backwards. The Yuanti slashes thrice at Natasha. The first is a natural 1 to hit you. Am I not rolling to everybody? I'm not, am I? There we go. The second is a 24 to hit you.
I'm gonna use my reaction to cast Absorbing Ward.
Okay. What does that do?
That hits. I have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing until the start of my next turn.
Yeah, okay.
And my first attack is a bonus.
So you take 7 slashing damage, half to 3.
Thank you.
And as the sword bites into your arm, you will take 7 poison damage. As the sword is coated. Chiavo, seeing these creatures wildly attack at you, what are you doing?
Let's see. Can I get a?
Also, is that a natural?
That isn't that 20. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So you see 5 or 6, you think, Yuanti, very well dressed, very well armed. One of whom is clutching at a staff with a snake's head coming out of it. You quickly notice that your 2 allies appear to be doing nothing.
Stabbed in the back, huh?
Perhaps.
Well, the one that's attacking Natasha needs to be stopped immediately.
Okay.
So.
It's the blue-skinned Yuanti, standing almost 9 foot tall. He holds a scimitar in his right hand and a whip in his left. Go ahead.
Okay. Time for a litmus test moment. I shall fire off a bolt of acid at the thing.
Okay.
But I would also like to
Is that to attack, yeah?
Yeah, I would also like to consult my awakened spellbook for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure it's a free action rather than a bonus action, but we'll see real quick. No, okay, it is just a temporary thing and it is a free action. Okay.
Okay.
So I shall convert this one into, instead of being acid, this will be a sort of goopy bolt with static emitting goop.
Okay. What are you casting?
It's Melf's acid arrow.
But you're converting damage to lightning. Okay, go ahead and roll to hit.
That's a 13 to hit.
Did you roll with advantage?
Oh, not with advantage, no.
You got a nat 20, right?
Yeah,
So
okay.
you roll with advantage?
Yeah, okay, with advantage, just a 21.
Cool, yeah, that'll hit.
That's 14 lightning damage.
Okay. Just that?
And... Huh?
Just that?
Yeah, I don't think I've got much in the way of bonus actions right now. Not for this turn, at least.
Okay. Cool. Torin, you're up.
So Torin, a little confused as to what's going on, I'm going to attempt to shove the Yuan-Ti that just attacked Natasha.
Okay. Opposed athletics checks, please.
So before that, though, I'm going to channel divinity and activate my peerless athletics.
He got an 8.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh, that should be about it. 22.
22 will definitely allow him to shove you. Allow you to shove him. You sort of shove him, and he slips sideways and falls prone. But you can see he still has his whip and sword at the ready. Like, he's a trained warrior. He knows he's been in situations like this before. And indeed, he will respond to this in kind as you hear this sort of hissed out. Dirty fighters.
I'll sort of call out and be like, actually, I won't even call out. I will look at him and I'll sort of echo the neck bearing gesture that we had learned from the Yuan-Ti before and say, "What's going on here?"
Sorry, give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. One of the Yuan-Ti sort of turns to you and... What's going on here? Is you are surrendering. Or dying.
And who or what am I surrendering to?
Us.
I'll sort of turn to Marich and kind of give him the look like, what the fuck's going on here?
He advances and pulls his sword on you.
I will use my sword, I guess, and look at my companions and sort of say, I think it's in our best interest to surrender for now, friends.
As you say that, the area around you, Torin, goes pitch black. Let's see here. The following turn is somebody casting darkness. Sorry. Right, screwed up. There we go. And as the area around you goes pitch black, Marriage sort of, you just hear this thunk into the back of your head with the hilt of the sword. The rest of you just hear, sorry, just business. I need a charisma save from Hennick and from Natasha and Sebastian. I need a wisdom save from Hennick and Chiavo.
I got a 14.
Mm-hmm.
I got a nat 1, but I'm going to use one of my lucky die.
Okay.
21.
21. Natasha, you fall unconscious. Sebastian, you look around and you see your two friends making their wisdom saves. Chiavo?
Yeah, apparently with a +4 to a save, that's a 7.
Yeah,
That's
and
okay.
Hennick?
9.
I suggest you follow your friends here. With that, you see Torin's body being hoisted, unconscious, on the shoulder of Yuanti.
This Yuanti's jacked.
And then Ivan will turn to Sebastian and is surrounded.
Okay, fine.
And immediately, a Yuanti priest with holding this sort of snake-like staff will come to you, and he will put his hand on your forehead.
Oh, I said I was coming, not that. First of all, you could approach me, and second of all, that you could.
Are you going to
stop.
attempt to stop him?
No, I'll willingly walk with them. You don't need to waste attunement slots and spell slots.
He
and
moves over to you and
features, lucky rolls.
I will not show you to the leader of our people whilst you can see the way.
Oh, well then, I'll do this.
As you close your eyes, you don't see what he's doing, and he will cast blindness on you. Yes, so you'll be blind. Those under the suggestion spell will be told to close their eyes, and will do so.
With my eyes closed, are my other senses heightened?
No, you're blind. But your other senses, all you can hear is the rustle of leaves.
Well, no, because I was thinking, if I pay attention, could I be able to map out the way we're going?
Yeah, for now. You're able to map out that, you've taken 2 rights and a left. You've gone what appears to be a semicircle. You've gone up some sort of ladder, and then you were hoisted from your feet and held suspended on somebody's shoulder. At which point you felt yourself bouncing constantly off someone's back.
Friday nights, baby.
Yeah. But after a while, in fact, quite a long while, almost 4 hours, you can take a long rest, guys. You will find yourself...
Didn't have a chance to use anything.
No. You will find yourself stood outside a large purple tent. And standing outside, knelt with his shield out in front of him, is the gentleman who introduced himself as Marich. And on the tent is the heraldry you saw on the shield on the letter. And indeed, the heraldry on Marich's shield. Whoever he is, shield brother to, whichever cow, resides in this tent. And
Stupid question. Sorry to break into the
That's
drama,
right.
but are we forcibly taking a long rest?
No,
Should we
no.
clear temp hit points?
no, you just had 4 hours of time pass, and you would have regained HP. So
Right, but the temps, like,
That's
I
fine.
didn't.
yeah, no, that can stay. That's fine. I'm
Wait, we
not
have
too
10.
worried about that. Some of
I
you
don't know.
do.
I mean,
It
I can't
doesn't
remember
really
that was from the
matter.
last time I did Inspiring Leader. Or
Yeah,
whatever,
it
but-
doesn't really matter a huge amount. Let's put it like that.
Oh, I do have
that's
10
fine.
too, actually.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, fine.
I mean, it might matter if you choose to fight, but I find that unlikely, seeing as you're at the center of the UNT homeland. And these 2 trees sort of lean down towards this tent. And as you look up, you notice that there are UNT up there holding what appears to be blow darts. Blow guns, I suppose, with darts loaded. And outside the tent, a Yuanti, who you saw earlier with the priests, with the staff, with the snake's head, looks at you and, you may enter.
Warren will sort of rub the back of his head, look around, and
Marich
Enter
just
the
sort of
tent.
looks at you and with a wry smile. And as you enter, you are immediately greeted by Yalasar, who you know well. And behind him is a Yuanti with sort of a crown of wood and gold upon his head. He has quite an aged look to his eyes and a beard, but he sits rigidly, with his hand sort of on his broadsword to his hip. He looks over at you and, greetings. And Yalasar sort of tilts his head towards you, Torin, and puts his head towards the rest of you.
Warren will do
And
the same.
he gestures for you to take a seat at the sort of round table that is in the center of the room. And for the rest of you to sit down as well. The man hasn't introduced himself, but Yalasar obviously is known to you all. And it's Yalasar who's gesturing for you all to sit down. Please excuse the manner of your retrieval, but my master was only willing to let you come on certain, well, conditions.
Yes, all's fair in love and war.
I hear that you acted very honorably.
I try my best, Yalasar.
We're just waiting on one more guest. I'm sure he won't be long. After a few moments of you all looking around awkwardly and nobody speaking, a silver dragonborn walks in, and Yorkrath takes a seat at the table.
Torin
Torin!
will stand up. Yeah. Yorkrath!
He grasps your wrist, and sort of pats his chest. It's okay, I'm well.
You old devil, you had me scared half to death.
It was an agreement we made. And at this, the Yuanti speaks in this beautiful melodic voice that I can't do. Friends, I am Unkansarik, and I speak for the Yuanti people now. My brother king has died. That has led to me, solely me, to lead our people. I understand that you had the pleasure of meeting with Speaker Yalasar at the border up to the north.
Aye, that we did. I believe my companions made quite the impression on him.
Indeed. Well, we need somebody to carry a message to your people. Or, quite simply, a recipe, to be honest. We are trying our best to retrieve our Yuanti from the front lines. Strange magics are at place there.
You speak of the madness.
Indeed, the madness. What an apt word. He sort of nods outside to the outside of the tent, and my priest out there, Ulraka, is capable of creating this mixture that has kept you sane through the mists. The mists are not of our creation, and we are assured by Yorkrath here that they are not of yours either. We suspect we are being pitted against each other for some reason or other.
By whom, my lord?
Don't know. No one of us know. But whomever it is, they attack with the very earth itself. Up in our homelands to the north, the trees bucked, the plants twisted, and that which we call home attacked us. And we hear that the north, the orcs, of whom we are not friends, but we have forged an uneasy alliance recently. Their land also attacked them, but more violently. The mountains themselves rose up and smote at them.
Yes, we've heard the stories.
Hmm.
Perhaps even seen this.
Well, regardless, we seem to have at least found our way past this purple mist. Though the recipe is difficult to produce. We ask that you speak to your... He sort of makes a strange sound in his mouth, and mages? Those who make potions in your lands.
I'll turn over. I'll look over at Kiavo, sort of give him like the.
Right. Alchemists, I guess.
Competent ones, though, not you.
Of course. Of course.
Alchemists, sure. In our land, they are simply priests. Nevertheless,
Priests
Perhaps-
now serve a slightly different purpose.
perhaps some of
That's
them may be
things
able
to
to
remind.
create this package. We have provided some of the herbs. But the process is lengthy and difficult. We hope that with your magics, it might speed up.
Oh,
I'm sure we have folk who can replicate the recipe, and we thank you for it. I do
That
wonder
helps.
whether, I mean, we have. Well, quite frankly, we've learned that perhaps we're better at talking to you folk than to our own leadership. I'm concerned that we won't be able to get anyone to take it. You could barely get some of my companions here to relax their suspicions. And I don't know. I mean, if someone like Yorkrath here isn't able to convince others to do it, I don't know why we would.
At this point, Ivan sort of... I'll do the talking. This time.
Interesting. But if you already you didn't know of this until just now,
Oh, I knew.
and so I guess I'm trying to understand exactly what we add to the process here.
Well, Uncle Sadak here wanted to meet with somebody of your lands, not of mine.
I see.
And you will be the proof, for ever has your land not trusted the dwarves completely, that you have seen these things over this way. The Duke of Lorvalen should listen, I believe. He is a fair man, and a sensible one.
Yeah, that may be. That may be. I wonder if some sort of a demonstration won't be necessary in front of someone more important than us. Anyway, that's tactical matters for the future.
If indeed I
We'll do
must,
what we can.
if we must take the population of Lorvalen and march them down to the warfront, I'm sure my people will not find it too much of a trouble.
I was thinking more along the lines of grabbing a few folk off the battlefield in front of one of the commanders, but whatever works.
It seems that when they exit the mists, these people remember dark things, and Yuanti doing nasty things, or the Yuanti remember the humans doing nasty things, but not much else, and it doesn't seem to really cure them of much. My people seem to be immune to the process. Accordance of our thick skull. Or so I surmise.
an interesting theory. Well,
Hmm.
I think it goes without saying that we accept this task.
And then Uncle Sadek sort of nods and gestures for Yorkrath and for Ivan to leave. And once they do so, he turns to you all and... look straight at Hennick. You are correct. There is no reason for us to have included you, really, in that discussion. We know none of your people. And whilst the Dwarven King there is a good man, he could be a little more eloquent. Yorkrath is also not of your people. We cannot ask one not of your people for a home. My people must leave these lands, and leave them soon. We need shelter. We need safety. Oh, excuse me. I have a text message. And he looks at you, and I understand you are not the one to beseech for that. But I am also given to understand that you have spoken to your leader in this place you call Lorvalian?
Yes, Lorvalian, yes. Pronunciation's not too important. We know what you mean.
I would like to meet with him. Or her.
I think that would be a fine idea. We need to skip over the nearest city here. This is Harbonda nearby here, and I don't think you'll find quite the reception there.
Indeed.
We are certainly...
I sent my son to Harbonda, and if not for the fortunate protection of some strange people who I don't know of, who are obviously kind, he would have been executed within the city.
That sounds
I think
about
that might have been us. Was that
expected
us?
then.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I hope not. Did I miss that episode? Was I not
No,
here?
we did
Oh no,
something
you helped a
where
merchant.
we
You helped a
sent
merchant.
Somebody off.
Yeah, you helped a merchant, you auntie. No, the
Seems
son of the
lucky, yeah.
the son of the lord of the lands is not who you rescued. No, he was helped by someone. Nevertheless, I am to understand that Harbonda is not very welcoming, but like us, we have our war frontiers and our more provincial states, and we have our homelands. If Lorvalian is akin to Horken, our capital, I'm sure it is both beautiful and full of people of various different minds. Perhaps we can find some with the right minds.
Yeah, well, it won't be for me to decide, for any of us probably to decide where you would end up if we can convince our leadership to accept you. But I wouldn't be surprised if you might find a better shot somewhere out in the open, not within one of the cities. But in terms of permissions, that's got to go straight to the top. You're right about that.
Well, my plan is thus. I will travel to Elodar with Ivan out there. He has assured me of my safety, and we have ever got on better with the dwarves than we have with the humans of Jorston. I will await at Elodar a word from Lorvalian. It may take 3 or 4 weeks for us to travel to Elodar, so take your time, if you may. But I would appreciate it if you would deliver my message.
We will certainly do that, and we will arrange as welcome a meeting as we possibly can.
He looks to Torin, and I knew your grandfather, or at least stories of him.
Yes, a great man.
Indeed. He had a shield brother, whose grandson I know that you know well.
Aye, this is true.
Perhaps you do not know the son, however. He nods and introduced himself as Marich.
I see.
He has strange notions of pride and honor, but his father once served your grandfather. It was he who assured me of the honor in your line. He has served me for near 6 decades.
Well, I must thank him for that then.
I'm sure he will take your thanks no more than he will take mine. Apparently it is his duty Something to do with a life saved. As a life owed. Well, I've never quite understood your strange dragonborn pretenses of things that don't really matter. But I do know one Yuanti practice that is worth the while. And with that, he nods, and Yalasar begins to pour you all a small drink. He raises his
Now we're talking.
he raises his cup to you. Salutations. Exit.
Thorin will nervously down the hatch.
Now that matter is cleared up, am I mistaken in understanding that you are not truly diplomats nor soldiers?
Huh.
It's just that Ivan mentioned one of you was a barkeep and the other was a farmer?
I think that's about right.
That is an accurate recollection of...
My money was on the lion as the bartender.
Ah,
Right,
you
go
have
for
a
it.
Your
Young lady
money's,
over there.
lost then. Unfortunate to say.
this fierce young warrior here.
He pulls a small pouch out, puts it on the table, and slides it towards Yalasar. And Yalasar looks back, and the farmer's the halfling, though, right?
I don't try to hide it.
I knew you were a man of salt and earth. I was a farmer once before Uncle Sadich raised me to this mighty pinnacle that I'm at now. I've gone from tilling the good land to waiting upon an aged man with a bad temper. I don't consider it a promotion.
Quite right. Well, I think I'm learning it'll always be there for you to go back to if the time comes. But
Yes. Time.
it seems that it is the ordinary folk who might be the best to transmit this message, as the leaders are caught up in things that are understandably difficult for them to look past.
By which you mean that authority figures are often terrible at doing the jobs they are given.
Precisely, the ones who like to do it aren't really the ones who are any good at it.
Well, be that as it may, I am sorry you walked into my lands blindfolded, but you will leave with your eyes open and your heads held high.
So much appreciated.
Thorin will bow deeply.
And at this moment, Ivan sort of wanders in, clutching sort of breastplate. Sort of starts waving it up in the air in front of him and, well, stand up, girl! As he looks at Natasha.
Oh.
How can I help you?
You're a little thick around the waist than I'd thought.
Thank you. My parents fed me well.
That's her mother's fine carrot soup, I'll tell you.
Thank you for the compliment.
With that, he sort of... Well, take it. Take it. I'd keep you safe. Or something.
Take what?
He sort of foists a large chainmail onto the table in front of you.
Oh. And this is Yalasar, right?
No, this is Ivan, the dwarf.
I'm like, woo! Across so many names.
Yeah, it's Ivan. And he is handing you a gleaming set of chainmail. It is, in fact, armor of gleaming chainmail.
Oh, armor of gleaming. Hello, hello.
I'll suit you in. This is one my people made for a, he smiles, a friend. And, well, it seems he won't be needing it anymore. By virtue of the fact that his head has departed his shoulders. Dirty traitor.
It is unfortunate, but I may have to pass on to this gift.
Oh, and why is that?
I'm not strong enough to wear it.
What?
Oh no.
You'll grow into it, girl.
I also don't
Chainmail
wish to
has a
carry it
strength.
because I will be encumbered.
Chainmail has a strength requirement?
Yeah, I think it's 13.
Maybe
It's
we should
13.
level up.
I'm sorry, I was under the impression that it was your plan to wear heavy armor.
It was, but unfortunately, I was not able to put enough points into strength to do so at this
I
moment in time.
wouldn't worry too much about that. Go ahead and stick it on. and I will discuss that with you in a moment.
Thank you very much, DM.
That is okay. As this gift is only getting given out once by one person, and you guys ain't got 500 gold.
Man,
Far from.
that's quite the gift.
That is quite the gift, yeah.
Evan turns to you and what a small token. Look, I'm sorry for the reception on the way through. I don't lie well, so Marge simply told me to keep my mouth shut and harumph a lot, which apparently is quite akin to my people. Don't think we had the pleasure of meeting properly. I'm Ivan Eldasar, King of Eladar. And you would be?
Surprised is what we would be, but Hennick Littlefield.
Yes.
Well, indeed, your human kings hide away in halls, don't they, doing nothing? Apologies, I know you are not all human, but it seems to bode the same way for the halflings and even the dragonborns. We dwarves prefer to lead our people from the front.
How very honorable.
And I understand that you are Torrin Goldenbrand, correct?
I am.
I had the pleasure of meeting your grandfather once as well. Although we met a little more closely than I would have wished. I was quite humiliated in the arena.
Aha. I've heard that he made a fool of many a great warrior.
Well, indeed. Brute strength is one thing, but his whip-like speed was quite remarkable. And then he sort of looks down at Sebastian and yourself?
Hi, my name's Sebastian Belmont. How are you?
I'm good, if a little confused. How did you come to be this way?
Well, I get my dashingly good looks from my father. I get these beautiful yellow eyes from no one. And I got this figure also from Natasha's mum's soup, funnily enough. Yeah.
You're having an old dwarf on? Well, regardless. And you've travelled a long way, no, Leonin?
Quite.
Hmm.
It's long travels indeed from the homeland.
Well, life's a long journey. See what
It
you
is
can.
indeed. Name's Kiavo. It's good to meet you under more appropriate and civil circumstances.
Perhaps one day we shall have the pleasure of sharing ale in my hall.
That would be a future to look forward to.
I'm in what they call the middle years as a dwarven king. Traditionally, at approximately halfway through their rule, dwarven kings get bored and go out and get themselves killed or famous. I'm aiming for the latter, though the former may happen. I believe you humans, and he looks to Natasha, call it a midlife crisis. Well,
Let's hope you make it through, okay?
I was thinking of a flashy horse, but then war seemed so much more entertaining. Regardless, might I send an escort to take you home?
And he greatly appreciated.
He gestured across the sort of
And
bunch of tents, and you see 30 dwarfs, well armored, who sort of raise their shields. They're a rowdy folk, but, well, they have news for the Duke of Harbonden. Are we, is there anything else?
Well, I don't
Those
believe so.
arrangements seem appropriate.
Yes. We thank you, King Ivan, for keeping us safe on the way here.
Just Ivan, I'm not joking.
Ivan, I have a question.
Do you?
I do. Of course we are doing this favor for you. Do you happen to have any scrolls lying around? Or...
For me, lad? I'm not sure you're doing the favor for me. He sort of pats his pockets, and I'm not much of a writing type myself. nor a reading type.
Are there any people magically inclined around here?
Oh, you're looking for magics. I'm sure we've got some buried up in our holes, but I didn't bring any with me. I don't trust this stuff. It never responds when you want it to. Magicians are a most unreliable sort.
Then riddle me this. Do you know where any of the places are for the what's it called? The
Way of the path?
Yeah.
Looks at you, the way of the path? That's 2 roads in 1 sentence.
It's okay. I'm pretty sure I can figure out where they are.
Yes, the Kiavo has perfect maps to all of them, but the Kingsetter looks at you and... Nay, I've got no time for that. We're not mining and we're not warring, then we're drinking.
Oh, then do you happen to have any gold?
I do, lots of it.
Great, can I have some?
No.
Sebastian, how about we just consider the payoff for this particular task to be the ending of deaths along the border and encroachment of our town once again?
Yeah, I think that sounds lovely, but you can't harm a guy for asking for a little bit more.
Alas, I don't think it's me you're doing the favor. If anything, I think it's me that's doing you the favor. And with that, he looks over. Battle Axe Brigade! Quick march! And they begin to surround you to escort you back across the border. You can probably now work out what made that nice little 30-foot gap in the frontier for you. Yes, Torrin.
I was going to say, before we go, though, I wanted to speak to Yokrath very briefly.
Indeed. Yorkrath's coming with you, so...
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Yeah, you can talk to him as much as you like. But please can you do so after the short break, as
Yes,
we will be back shortly. Also, by the way, if you want to buy some merch, it's really cool, and it looks like this. And I'm way too hot, so I'm not going to be wearing it in the second half. Duck Pond D&D, all of that stuff. Go ahead, exclamation merch. Lovely store there, loads of stuff to buy. We'll be back in a few.
Woo!
Hello, welcome back to the second half of episode 14 of Beldania. So, you have been escorted across the... Why is that not working? There we go. You've been escorted back across the border at the Uanti frontier. And you're led back to the war camp. I'm doing some lovely echoing for somebody.
Probably me. Sorry, hold on.
That's okay. And you're led back to the main war camp, where all 30 dwarves turn to you, nod once, and the leader sort of salutes to Hennick, who they've now judged to be your leader, not Torin. And then he sort of bows down towards you and... we'll be headed to Harbondon now.
And I think we might as well, but thank you very much for the protection.
Safe travels.
You as well.
You too.
And at this moment, a tiny little bird flies down in front of you all. And then expands. It grows 2 long legs like a flamingo. And its neck expands out of its body. And it sort of cranes over and it looks at you all and opens its beak wide and begins to shout at you. Sebastian! It's me! It's Furlock! I'm here. You're here. We're here. Come into the camp. I've got the shack at the back. You can't miss it. Looks like a mushroom.
Okay.
And with that, the flamingo just bursts into an explosion of feathers and vanishes.
I would be surprised, but considering what I know about Furlock, I'm kind of not.
Okay. As you walk up to the 6th watch, sort of a fairly down-to-earth looking soldier in ready, basic iron armor. He's got sort of 20-odd soldiers on watch with him. Sort of steps up and he sort of raps twice against his chest with his gauntlet and... Greetings! Might I ask you business?
We have a meeting at a mushroom. There's a wizard fella, Furlock, I believe. Asked us to meet him in there.
You have a meeting in a mushroom with a wizard?
I mean, if you've all been taking care of this camp, you must have noticed there's a big mushroom.
Oh, you mean the strange shack at the back? It's shaped like a mushroom. It's not a mushroom.
All right, well, you know, we ain't been here yet. You have. Thank you for the information.
We've been told not to interfere with it, but...
We've
been
told to interfere with it, so if you could...
very well, go on through.
Fine.
Might I take some names? I'm sorry, protocol dictates that I allow you to come through if I'm expecting you or you're on my list, but you have a meeting with a person I'm told not to speak to. You understand. As things get passed down from the authorities, Look, I'll be honest with you, it's a shit show here.
Yeah, we had strange enough meetings at some of the other guard posts. I thought we would just try the strange from our side for once. But I am Hennick Littlefield. These are my companions, Torin Goldenbrand, Sebastian, whatever your last name is, I can never remember.
Belmont.
Belmont, that's it. Natasha Islet and Chiavo. Duskmane Pride, something like that, I believe.
Cavo of no surname worth mentioning, I believe, is the
that's right.
correct one. He looks to you and... Aye, very good. I'm Corporal Crag. I appreciate it.
I'll remember that one for sure.
Go straight through. The mushroom building you're looking for is right at the back of the camp.
Now,
right
see,
outside.
Since I let off with that, we got direct instructions where we're heading. That hasn't happened once all day, so thank you very much.
I'm gonna give old Craig a good pat on the shoulders.
Thanks. And he sort of looks at you again and... Have you been down to the front?
Aye, not so recently.
Is it as bad as they say?
These are strange times, Corporal.
Shack like a mushroom ain't the weirdest thing going on in these parts, unfortunately.
I lost my brother down there. They say he was frothing at the mouth when he died.
Sorry to hear.
Never mind. Expect to lose people in war.
Well, I've heard there's sort of a preventative for that.
A preventative? Died for nothing?
I don't think nothing. I mean, anytime something goes wrong and then a solution is found afterwards, it's unfortunate, but at least good going forward.
Yes, you could say that your brother died a hero.
Can I put my hand on his shoulder and just say, I'll pray for him tonight?
Thanks, miss, but not much put stock in the gods anymore. He'll be the 6th member of our family to die this year.
Well, hopefully the last. I'm sure you'll do just fine, but don't be too surprised if there's a way around some of this frothing at the mouth.
Well, that can only be a good thing, right?
Sorry, can I just say, I thought you were going to say, don't be too surprised if a solution was on the rise.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
No.
Go on.
No, honestly, I'm just trying to like genuinely kind of go like, hey, if all of the random regular people start to have this rumor that there's a solution for this, they might believe it when it happens.
Oh yeah, very much so. And Corporal Crag will immediately strike you as somebody who's fairly practical. You know, if there's a preventative, then it can only mean for the good. But
Maybe your family's cursed.
thanks.
Sebastian, look, I
possible.
understand what it's like not having faith in the gods, but unfortunately, there isn't an easy fix, and the gods' interventions isn't what's going to have us thrive. They're just symbols to guide us.
Hmm.
So when I say I'll pray for your brother, it means I will hold his memory close to my heart as I move forward.
Aye, and I'll do the same. Regardless, I've taken up too much of your time. You have a meeting with a mushroom. Please, go ahead. And a pleasure to meet you.
A meeting with a mushroom.
He's the one who's just like, he's just taking it to another level. Anyway, as you enter through the, as you go through the camp, a couple of times people sort of look at you a little funny, like, what the fuck is that cat doing walking through our,
They've
our
never
camp?
seen a Yonin before? Jesus.
But eventually, as you wind to the back of the camp, you see this tall, thin wooden building with a sort of large roof. And indeed, it does look a little like a mushroom. And there's a sort of ramshackle door on the front. You would assume that this is the mushroom you've been guided to.
Yeah, I'll walk up, try and knock a few times on the door with my staff.
Yeah, the door sort of forms a mouth in the front of it. Let's come straight in.
I'll go straight in.
Okay. The rest of you following?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Wonderful. That's what we like to hear. Bear with me a second. Oh, that's not what we were looking for. Come on now, it's not a tavern in here, really? Never get it right. Okay. You enter in and you immediately step onto luscious red, thick carpet. Looking over to the right, there are sort of 3 huge, squishy armchairs. And over to the left, there is a sort of floor-to-ceiling, 12 by 12 foot fish tank full of unusual swimming creatures. Well, looks over to you and friends. It is good to see you. Welcome along. How are we doing?
Tharlok, what are you doing here?
Well, I came to investigate, didn't I? Most interesting, don't you think?
If you're into that kind of thing.
Well, you see, this purple mist that is happening down at the border, it's not just a maddening effect, you know? There's all sorts of illusions within it. People are seeing things that don't really happen. I came to see if I could help out, maybe stop some of it.
And have you been able to?
Yes, I have. 120 feet so far. The problem is, it's damnably 17 miles long. I've got a ways to go. But I'm working on it. Unfortunately, nobody seems to venture up to the very northern corner, so nobody's noticed my work yet. But I'm getting there. The Mages Guild has promised to send 2 youngsters to my aid, but I don't know if they'll be of any use whatsoever.
Are you sure it's safe for you to be here?
Who would want to trouble an old gnome like me? I'll be just fine. What about you, though, Sebastian? I heard you returning from the frontier itself.
Yeah, I've been traveling a lot actually.
Oh? And have you seen anything exciting? Oh, by the way, please, take a seat, take a seat. I'll get us some drinks. And with that, he sort of clicks his fingers twice. And this Aarakocra sort of wanders out the back of the room. And, drinks! Drinks! And, you see it sort of holding its tray around, and it's looking around, but it doesn't see any of you. Just put them on the table. Table! And he just sort of just places it down, like, oh, right, the tray is right on the edge of the table, about to teeter over. Furlock quickly sort of waves his hand, and a mage hand puts it on the table, and you're dismissed, Nigel. He looks at you all, and I'm so sorry. I tried to create a man out of a bird. It's, we're getting there. Experiments. I don't know. He's not the best servant, but he's better than nothing. Don't worry, he's fairly
You are
unaware.
a twisted man.
Twisting. Maybe that's what I should have done. Maybe I twisted the wrong... I don't know. Anyway, enjoy the drink. Sebastian, where have you been? What have you been doing? You've been traveling, right?
Yeah, I've seen some mountains move. I've seen... Right? That's right?
Yeah, you've seen some mountains, mate.
You gave me a weird look, like I just said anyway.
No, Furlock gave you a weird look like, you what?
Yeah, we saw mountains move.
We
saw catapults the size of skyscrapers don't exist. The size of kingdoms, palaces, even. What else did we see? We saw many fights. We saw
Oh, indeed.
avalanches.
You've been involved in combat, have you?
Yes. We fought giant, right? That snow giant.
Yeah, it was a Yeti,
Yep.
I believe, but... You know.
Okay, yeah, we fought yetis.
Well, it seems you're progressing. And how's your magic coming along?
Pretty good, I would say. I've just started trying to work on my own things.
Oh,
Um,
indeed.
Yeah, I've started writing them in my book. You know, because I'm like part human, part cat. I called the book The Half-Blooded Prince.
An apt title.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, if you're studying, and then he sort of looks over to Chiavo, and the larger of the cats has been useful too.
They've all been great meat shields, yeah.
Excellent. Well, perhaps
Meat shields.
I have a couple of scrolls that might be of interest to you both.
Yes, please. Like Sebastian will like slowly start like stepping towards Phil, like with like his eyes are huge, like fangs out.
He
like,
sort of scans through, and I got this one and this one for the big cat, and he sort of hands you 2 scrolls, and then Sebastian, for you, I've got some interesting stuff. And he gives you 3 scrolls, which could be useful or could be useless. I'm not sure. So to Chiavo, he gives Leomund's tiny hut
Ooh.
and haste.
Oh.
To Sebastian, he gives Phantom Steed, an illusion spell. And he gives protection from energy. And I do have the third one written down somewhere. Fuck knows where I put it. Oh, and counter spell. He looks to you both, and countering others' spells and speeding up your allies is standard magics that any wizard should learn, but the others are the ones I find most interesting. And he gestures towards this luxurious home that he's got inside this shack, and this is an adjustment on the very spell I've given you there, Chiavo. Once this was but a tiny hut. Now look at it. It is, well, magnificent, I think, personally. So,
Quirky and grand.
thank you. The house is nice too, right?
I'll take a little glance around. It looks nice enough in here, right?
Yeah, it's fabulous and opulent, and it doesn't fit inside a mushroom-shaped shack. But he was just taking the grand and quirky as compliments to his character. And,
That too.
well, I have discovered some things in the, on my work on the front. I wonder if perhaps it's some of what I have might aid your companions, although perhaps not. He looks over at Natasha. Ah, you're the bartending one, right? Why, you're taking on a handsome figure. And he looks at sort of the chainmail armor.
So he wasn't referring to like her.
No, just like you're looking like you're kitted out in like, well, let's just say the armor looks a little less than graceful. No, how do you walk about in that stuff?
Well, usually I will put my right foot forward and then my left foot forward, and then I put another right foot forward, and I just
Yes,
repeat
if you
it.
put your right foot back, you get stuck doing this really stupid dance.
Why
and
do
then-
you ask how I walk?
Well, it looks heavy, no?
Oh yes, it is very heavy.
Well, perhaps I might help with that. I mean, not with the armor. I wouldn't want to. Perhaps an enchantment of importance might be placed upon it, but perhaps with something else. You see, I've got these. And he looks at them, and he looks down at what appears to be looking at your feet. It's a little mannish, but we'll manage. And he reaches over to a cabinet and opens it, puts his hand, and then sort of climbs in and puts his whole forehead in, reaches like, to the back. The cabinet's not big enough for this, but, you know, he's doing furlock things. And eventually he pulls out a bright red tasseled pair of slippers. And he holds these out towards Natasha, and don't worry about the looks. The elven girl who used them last was a bit of a fanciful type, though. You can keep them if you like. And with this, he hands them over to Natasha, and these might lighten your load a little, so to speak.
But what do I owe this kindness to?
Kindness? Ah. What am I going to do with them? Just thought they might be useful.
I will take this as a gift in kind for having protected Sebastian.
He looks at you
Yes.
and then looks at Sebastian, and I would have thought Sebastian was quite capable of looking after himself.
Unfortunately, that is not what happened in the battlefield. He is often rendered at the hands of much stronger opponents. But it's a good thing that we're there to keep him safe.
Has Sebastian ever
By the
taken
way,
damage this
Sebastian is
campaign?
pulling this exact look.
I have done an excellent job at making sure that he has not received a single scratch.
Well, indeed. Well, I hope the boots come in useful.
Let's hope so. I can't wait to continue with my meat shield duties. And then I'll glance over at Sebastian.
I'm gonna flick my hand and prestidigitation the boots so that they're dirty.
I'll rub off the dirt of the boots on the armor.
Yeah, cool.
And this is probably the only joke Natasha told in the whole campaign, which just shows how comfortable she's getting with you guys.
I don't know what I did with your boots, but they should. No, is this not working? Oh. Yeah, no, I thought that would work. It doesn't. Okay, I'll work that out later. I thought I had them sorted, but they're not doing
Did
what I
you do
wanted them
anything
to.
special?
Yes, they do something special. They give you 20 extra pounds of carrying weight.
Oh, that's lovely.
But they don't seem to be doing it, which is annoying.
That's
So we will have to work that out at some point.
Has-
I thought I could
has
just set the
everyone-
weight to minus 20, but it doesn't seem to work that way.
Has everyone gotten their gifts? Because Natasha wants to say something.
No. She so he sort of looks over at I've fixed it by just making your armor weigh nothing. He sort of looks over at Torin, and I'm not one for much of the fighting stuff. But
I wouldn't expect you to be Furlock.
I wonder if this might be useful. And he hands you a small bracelet. It might allow you to communicate in your hour of need. Though,
Communicate, you say?
yes.
Will it fit around Torin's wrist?
Yeah. It's a large sort of silver torque that is made of iron
Oh,
and it'll
nice.
condense to the right size. It simply allows the cast of message once per day.
I'll flip it on without even realizing what it does.
And then,
Thank you, Furlock.
that's alright. I just, having given out some scrolls to the more wizardy types, I thought I might have some useful stuff lying around here. Speaking of which, I don't know if this is any help to you, but I thought it might at least be of interest. And he reaches deep into this cabinet once again, and he pulls out a book and he hands it to Hennick. It's a translation of my own. By my own hand. I thought it might interest you.
Well, that's very kind of you. Take a look and see what you've translated here.
Folk tales of the Yuan-ti.
Now, see, that's the kind of useful thing. Information.
Well, sometimes it's best just to understand each other, right?
I find that to be the case. I appreciate it.
Well, I understand that you have a place that you need to be eventually. You can see he's being a little circumspect, but perhaps Furlock knows more than he should. Be that as it may, don't forget to take time for yourselves. These dignitaries and authority types that have you running around at their beck and call all day, every day, doing nothing of much use. It's much better to find one's own place in the world, in my opinion.
I think I can speak for all of us when I say, when we hurry, it's not for the people in charge so much as it is for the folks dying out there on the line.
Well, yes, I mean, call it what you like, doing the good deeds or helping those that are asking you. I do believe that sometimes it's better to find your own way of doing it. But, well, you'll find your places in the world, I'm sure.
Fair enough, Farlock. Thank you.
You're very welcome. But truly, I called you here for a different purpose. Although, quite a simple one. Recently the mages have, raised a tower, a school, in fact, in Sandringham, your village, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, there is a new building there.
We had visited Florence.
Indeed. However, there is also a friend of mine there once. Or a once friend, I suppose I should say. He's not doing too well.
Are you talking about Gwalin?
Yes, Gwalin. Great
We
mage
met
in
him,
his time. Yeah, he's a nutjob.
Like off his rocker,
He's
exactly.
lost his shit. He's lost
Yeah.
his screws and his hooks. And he looks towards Chiavo, and I understand he was to mentor you once, when you were more of a novelty than Sebastian.
Yes, he was. I don't know what happened to him.
Well, indeed, Florence and I have set up a simple system. I thought partly to be of convenience to you, but also to ask a little request. The door over there, and he gestures, and sort of a door that wasn't visible a second ago sort of appears on the wall, will lead you directly to that chamber, where Gwalin is. Which may facilitate a shorter journey home than you had here.
That's true.
But, more importantly, I wonder if... He looks to Sebastian. I wonder if you might try something a little experimental.
I had a theory as well, which I wanted to
Uh-huh.
see if
A theory,
see
you
if
say?
that would work as well.
Well, have you tested it?
Not yet, no. But the just a total blind shot in the dark. The
I'm not very accustomed to taking shots in the dark that are not blind, but please, do inform me.
there was this well, where's that recipe that we had? The really complicated
Ah,
one.
yes. The little booklet of recipe for the mind herbs.
Yeah, my theory is maybe that might help.
I doubt it. Gwalin seems to have gone mad quite on his own accord.
Oh,
Though, perhaps as a result of something he has witnessed.
I thought it might have been worth a shot at least.
Indeed, you can...
If it didn't work, if it doesn't work,
I have... It reaches over to a shelf. These are the herbs they're giving out on the... in the Yuan-ti lands, right? And it gives you a small pouch looking exactly like the ones you ate earlier.
Yes, those.
I borrowed some in my research of the frontier. I don't think they'll miss them. Well, there was only 2. Well, anyway. And then he looks at you, Chiavo, and you might give them to Gwalin, though, as I say, I think he... I'm not sure that these are going to cure becoming a blathering idiot. Though perhaps that is your area of expertise, I'm not sure. And then he looks to Sebastian, and anyway, speaking of experimental magics, I do have a scroll here. I've frankly no idea what it'll do, though I believe it causes a blank in somebody's mind. Not the casters, from what I've worked out. I thought perhaps you might, or perhaps we could use Gavo here as a guinea pig. I thought one of you might read it at Gwalin and see what happens.
We couldn't use as a guinea pig because it's a scroll, right? We can only use it once.
I more meant he more meant that Kiavo could do the casting in case it sort of backfires and explodes the caster or something.
Oh yeah, good idea. Hey, Bravo, do you want to have a really important job that only you can do?
Be an experimental spellcaster for an experimental scroll.
Kiavo, you see this scroll and it's written in a language that seems a little familiar to you. I think. Certain parts of the spell are written in Abyssal.
Yes.
Certain in Infernal. Some in Draconic, which I know you don't speak. And some are simply magical runes.
Well, isn't this interesting? I understand a good portion of this.
Furlock sort of giggles, and I find that quite surprising.
Well, Abyssal and Infernal?
No, that you would understand such complicated concepts.
Oh,
I thought you did everything by the book. No?
well, even if you do everything by the book, you can still see the workings of people which operate way outside the bounds and see something within it. Just because what I do is by the book doesn't mean that people that don't operate by the book aren't valid in what they do.
Goodness me, you almost sounded intelligent.
I try.
Well, very well. Well, if you can make some use of that scroll, perhaps it might help Gwalin, it might not.
It's worth a shot at this point. Very
indeed.
few people, if any, know how to help him, so trying anything is better than trying nothing.
Well, indeed. And indeed, if you are willing to try and help Gwalin in this manner, then I'll be most grateful. Give me an insight check. Someone. Perhaps Hennick, I think.
Can I also roll it?
I think Hennick might like that.
He is trying to read that book, and he's not too bright, and it is totally blowing his mind. He can't think straight at all.
Go ahead, Natasha. What did you get?
19.
Okay. Yeah, it might strike Natasha at this moment that Warlock's perfectly capable of reading a scroll and has a doorway straight into Gwalin's bedroom. Why is he not just doing it himself?
Natasha was probably trying on the shoes. I'll look up. Still trying to slide the shoe in because I'm sure this was for an elf with slightly
You will
smaller
notice
feet.
that they will sort of vaguely expand to the size of your feet. They are somewhat magical in nature, although they don't they don't turn into boats. We're not getting them on Torrent's feet anytime soon.
Can you remind me how do I pronounce the guy's name?
Furlock?
Furlock. Okay.
Yes, Furlock.
She'll look up and say, Furlock, but if you are such a wise and powerful mage, why don't you read the scroll yourself? Why'd you require Kiava's assistance?
Because of exactly what you said, I'm a wise mage. He sort of gestures towards Sebastian, and whilst I applaud experimentation, occasionally it has unwanted side effects.
I don't see anything wrong here.
No, indeed you don't, but it's one thing to turn temporarily or permanently into a intelligent cat, but what if I turn myself into a flobberworm?
You're willing to
Worm?
and you're willing to put my companion Kiavo through it.
Well, I'm not sure that he'll notice the difference.
And I'm not sure that is the correct thing to do.
Well, indeed, but it's his own choice, is it not?
Kiavo, you simply cannot do this. The experimentation is too dangerous. I mean, no offense, Sebastian, but you might come up with a result that is not in the cards for you.
And this is why you're going to end up with a life of mediocrity, like a priesthood or something.
Okay, speak for yourself. Just because you're stuck in a tower doesn't mean that I will be.
Indeed, but it is, as you said, grand and quirky, no? He looks to Torin.
Because I actually consider decisions all the way through. As a matter of fact, I find that is the correct way to go about life, good sir.
Natasha, I think you should be pointing this towards Kiavo. He's the one that wants to do it. And how brave he is for doing it. Everyone, come on.
How
So brave.
There are some
Pit.
concerns with this, but
you could die, or worse, lose your magic.
Actually, I think that would help.
Okay, I'll
Natasha,
stand by in case anything happens.
Regardless of magic, there are always risks to anything. You might as well live in a priest tower if you...
This is no priest's tower. I'm a mage, thank you. No. Natasha, you are right in one element. I do believe that doing so is risky. However, I have a feeling that if the spell would do something as powerful as to trouble the caster, it will rely on the power of the user. If I miscast a spell of great difficulty and great danger, I may indeed see the spell through. My hope is that if it is a very difficult or dangerous spell for Kiavo, it will simply fail.
Very well, but I will stand by just in case anyone gets hurt.
Excellent, and we will all be grateful for it. I will stand nowhere near in case anybody nearby gets hurt.
then, as a precaution, is there any kind of warding or such?
Come on, Kiavo. Where's
As you look at the spell, but as you look at the scroll, you're not entirely sure that you understand. Though perhaps somebody else might. Something else might.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yes, you have an eternal book full of knowledge. You should probably use it occasionally.
Yes, my spell book. I'll pull out my spell book and open it up and
Yes.
Theseus, I have one request.
Jamal, you're echoing the music at us. It's like being zinged with piano notes. They're going yeah.
Theseus, I have one request.
Yes.
This scroll here, can you make sense of this? And
Indeed, can you not?
it's there's one language in it I can't understand at the very least, and it's I'd like to know if there's any risk.
Oh, interesting. This is not something I've seen before. A variation on the Mind Blank spell. Most unusual. Whoever wrote this is quite the exceptional wizard. A very complicated abjuration spell. Furlock stands in the other side of him. Well, thank you. And the book continues. And at this point, none of the rest of you can hear the book talking. So, Kiavo, you might you might have understood something there. Regardless, the book will carry on talking. Indeed, it is a variation to allow perhaps the calming of one's more unusual mental emotions. It seems like it is an attempt to cure one of deficiency in the brain. Perhaps you should use it on yourself.
Ouch. No, there's someone who needs this far more than I do.
Oh, indeed. Goodness me. They must be quite useless.
As
That's the book, by the way, Natasha, speaking to him.
Not even Furlock, yeah.
As Kiavo is speaking with his book, I'm gonna whisper over to Natasha. Maybe if it backfires, it'll stop him from from speaking to his inanimate object.
Furlock looks at you and... Sorry, go on, Natasha.
I've been practicing medicine for a while now, and I still haven't quite figured out what's going on there.
Furlock looks at you all and... The book is quite incredible. I'm sorry. And then he sort of, at this moment, lays a hand on Natasha and Sebastian. And at this point, you will hear the book speaking. It is speaking back to him, though the mental intrusion is... Oh. And then he lets go of you. Sorry, it is quite difficult to maintain that. It's speaking to him telepathically. Because of...
So he's not crazy.
Well, he may well be, but the book is...
One friend.
The book is indeed quite beyond Chiavo or even my own understanding. If he wasn't within the realms of my own creation, I wouldn't hear the telepathic calls, but... Well... Oh, I am sorry. Seems to have caused me quite the headache. He looks up to Chiavo and taps Chiavo on the shoulder.
Farlock.
I don't suppose for a moment I might borrow that book of yours. Just a brief moment.
I'm not sure what you'll be able to do with it. I know it's very much bound to me, but
Yes, it is.
I'll satisfy your curiosity. What do you require?
Just to place my hand upon it for a few moments.
Sure thing.
He places his hand on it and he begins speaking rapidly in Gnomish. And then in Common quickly he says, "And on the balance of things?" Quite comparable. Excellent. And of the Moon Elf dynasty? Oh, indeed. Whimsical. And he hands it back to you. Well, most interesting. The knowledge contained in there could consume one for hours, though you are right, it is bound entirely to yourself. Whilst it is capable of answering minor questions, I would not be able to read within its pages. Perhaps, with the use of this book, you could have... He sort of looks at Sebastian and looks confused, and you could become quite powerful.
Yeah, that could be a long way off. But if anything,
Well, of course.
the surprising and incredible thing here is I've not known anyone that could really understand or communicate with this thing. You're the first I've heard of, aside from myself.
Well, there aren't a large number of particularly competent mages around these days.
When Philog says that Chiavo could become a powerful mage, Sebastian's gonna roll his eyes.
Well, it's a long journey. Anyway, speaking of long journeys, I do seem to have quite the headache. I don't suppose you might... He gestures towards the door.
Indeed. Theseus, I will be reading from this scroll. Is there any risk that I need to be aware of before I do so?
No.
Okay,
Well,
then it shall be so.
not yourself. You may eradicate the mind of the target, but it
His
would
mind
seem if
is-
you're targeting somebody who's more useless than you, that won't be much of a loss.
Then I hope that the end result will be better than what's happening now. It's worth a try.
Hmm.
I hope
Well,
you're
indeed.
right, Furlock.
Farlock looks at you and... Me too, Gwalin was once a great friend.
Then for both of us, I hope it works. And I'll step through.
Okay. The rest of you following, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, once we decided it was actually really far, I probably would have had brought the cart and all that nonsense, but whatever. I mean, I don't know
Yeah, that's
what
fair.
you want to do with that.
Well, I think perhaps maybe at that point, Chiavo would step back, and then you could all travel back along with the cart.
Yeah, that
Oh,
would
that's
work.
true.
Okay.
I mean,
that
I don't
works.
suppose Furlock could just, temporarily smallenize the cart, but
Is that an illusion ability? He's much
probably
good at much else. Yeah, he has a lot of clever magical items, but I'm not sure he could smallenize his cart, actually. I'd have to look.
Before we go, can I be the last person to leave?
Yeah, but let's take Chiavo briefly through to Gwalin. And you all, of course, because you all go through and listen and witness. And Chiavo looks down at the scroll, and you can see Gwalin in front of you. Chiavo, are you just going to go ahead and cast it, or are you making any sort of preparation or anything?
Yeah, what I will do is just as a in case, I will where is it in here? Uh,
Kiavo just hears Sebastian in the background going, "Do it, do it."
no, it's just I'm trying to think, and I heard an echo, and I was getting like thrown off.
That's
I'm
fine.
trying to see if there's a right. No, okay, that's on knowledge rather than actually performing something academic. Okay, so no, I'll just
Okay.
begin.
Chiavo,
Yes.
before you try something dangerous here, I know I often talk about being humble, but I know you can do this. People talk you down a bit, but I'm sure that you're going to be able to handle this just fine. And give him bardic inspiration in case it's useful.
Thanks, Henrik.
Very good.
Ditto,
Appreciate it.
Kiavo. My strength lies with you, and I'll give him a pat on the shoulder and cast guidance.
I feel really bad for not putting a check in this now.
Go on.
Oh, well.
Add one in. Go on.
It's good to know that everyone has my back.
I don't
At
put
least
checks where I can't afford for you to fail. So, yeah, with a DC of 2, make me an Arcana check. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, as you go ahead and incant this spell, at first you see Guarin sort of go rigid. And 2 tears roll slowly down his face. Bring back the madness. Bring back the madness.
Gwalin?
Yes, that was once I. Bring back the madness. I don't want to see
Why?
this.
Why?
What
What's
is
going on?
what's the madness blocking out?
So many dead. It's coming. It's coming. No! And with that, you see that he turns his hands towards himself and begins to cast.
Oh, damn it! I will use this scroll and not put it in my book. I will counterspell that.
Give me an Arcana check.
If I waste this scroll for no good reason.
Do it.
And I do have to make a check here because I'm not sure
That's
whether this is. Hold on,
this is
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I need to check what level this spell is. Yeah, what did you get?
24.
Okay, you do interrupt the spell. I didn't need to check then, did I? It's a 10 plus. So, yeah. You stop his casting and he looks at you. Please, let me go back. I never want to see this again.
What's coming?
He raised the ground against us. He turned the earth against us. He turned mother against child and child against mother. Father against brother. Man against woman. Families turned and slit each other's throats before taking their own lives. Blood rained from the sky.
Who?
I don't know. Can't name something like that. It was a power. I've never seen anything like it.
Where did it come from?
Everywhere. Orkan fell in moments. I attempted to stop the effects as I was driven to turn my magics upon me. I thought that the only thing that could block this out would be peace within the mind, but it twisted my spell upon me. Let me go back to the madness. I don't want to see this again.
Everyone around is going to see this again if we don't get as much information as we possibly can.
It's regrettable to say, but Henrik is right, Gwalin. There's such that that will possibly save a great many from a terrible fate.
You have no idea what I've done.
But he doesn't know. He doesn't know who it was. He doesn't know where it came from. Surely there's nothing more to gain from him.
I disagree. Just knowing what is coming, what is happening, is enough to at least prepare and plan for some people to have some kind of countermeasure.
Did he just say you don't know what I've done, though?
Yes.
He did.
Yes, he just did.
Can I ask him what he's done?
Or I could stop it. Horrible things. Vile things. I just felt the desire to strike out at all those around me. I couldn't stop it.
A kind of madness, Colin.
Though it felt like clarity. A belief that what I was doing was right. Until I saw the bodies.
But you're not under that influence now.
Just the memories.
Was it only the whatever you did to your mind, this madness you'd like to return to? And I understand. I'm sorry. Give us a moment. Was it only that stopped this control over you, or was that separate? That was just to take care of the memories.
It stopped its control. After 30 days, I recovered. But I didn't want to live anymore. Not like that. I cast a geas upon me that would allow me to remember only happy memories of my childhood and of my younger years, and nothing else. It was a good place, a happy place. I want to go back.
Folks, do you think there's anything else we can get from Port Wallen here?
Please, you are fighting this thing?
I think we're all going to be fighting it whether we like it or not. You're fighting it in your own way at the moment.
He reaches into his pouch and pulls out a scroll. It's on the table in front of him.
Counterspell scroll.
No. If you have need of me again, you may call. Please only do so if it is dire. This will end my madness temporarily.
Rylan, before you go,
Mm.
can you face the people who you consider friends, or people that do consider you a friend? Or can you not bring yourself to?
He looks around. I'd like to see Carleen again. She's still alive.
Would anyone know anyone by the name of Carleen?
Nope.
Right. What about at least talking to Furlock before you return?
Oh, look.
Furlock cares.
He was a good friend. No. I cannot face him. I do not want him knowing what I've done.
Okay.
You must think me cowardly.
No. No, it isn't cowardly.
But somewhere inside I knew that it was better that I remained alive in case these questions were asked. Otherwise, I would not be here.
Then
Thurlock was the one who sent us here to help you.
Yes, he would be clever enough to work his way around my magics. I am not glad for it, you know. But so. I don't want to remember it. Not anymore. It's coming for everyone, you know. The madness, the blood rain. You will all kill family, friends, and children if it comes for you. And you'll know what it's like to live like this.
Is this the same madness which is the purple mist? Or is this...
He looks at you. Purple mist? I know nothing of that. But, Chiavo, you'd probably be able to work out quite easily that the purple mist isn't making them slash at their own allies, right?
It's just driving them mad.
It's
Giving
making them
hallucinations and such.
fight. Yeah.
Influence.
It's. I mean, Violet basically told you they're seeing things that aren't there.
Yeah, yeah. So this is something on an entirely another level.
Oh, yeah,
something beyond even that.
Mhm.
Damn.
We're done here. And with that, he will start casting gears again on himself.
Is anyone going to attempt to stop him?
None of you can.
If someone tries, I'll stop you.
I mean, the most that we could hope to do is try to grab his hands and try to stop him, but no.
Yeah.
No.
Let the old man have his way.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You are able to step back through the portal. Bardock looks at you. How did it go?
It's regrettable. It didn't work.
Didn't work?
Did you ever just say it didn't work?
Yeah,
But it did work.
it didn't.
But it did.
It didn't.
Would one of you two care to explain?
Yeah, so Kiava's a liar.
Damn
The
it.
the scroll did work. But he was very traumatized by everything he saw. He doesn't know who
The
unleashed-
madness was of his own making.
Yeah.
As I
It was
thought.
to block out the memories he had of lashing out at people, and
He was at the fall of Hawken, wasn't he?
yeah.
Enough people have told their tales of that.
But he didn't know who started this or where they came from, where they went.
No, indeed. It seems no one does. Well, perhaps a year of madness will do him good. I'm sorry, that must have been difficult to witness. He looks at Kiavo. I am at least glad that you don't seem to have exploded.
Yeah, it seems I've got everything of my own still intact. It's for something experimental. It's remarkably rather safe. You've done something pretty good there.
Yes, well, I have my talents. Anyways, you better be going home, I guess.
Furlock.
Yes.
Those herbal packets
Hmm.
that you appropriated.
I like that word. I might use it. Carry on.
They well, we all had that before we went down to the front through the lines. Any idea how long that would protect us?
I think if you had them fresh, 24 hours. Though, I'm not sure how long they remain fresh. I'm no herbalist.
Nevertheless, something to make sure we have again before we would be back in that situation.
Yes. It's the Yuanti brewers that are... They call them priests, but they are simply creators of drugs. The Yuanti brewers seem to be the experts on making them. Indeed, I wouldn't pass into those purple fogs without it. I was hard-pressed to keep the illusions at bay until I discovered these herbs.
Very well.
Safe journey home.
Thank you.
And as you all traipse back to Sandringham,
On the way to Sang. Oh my
Drink
God.
'em. Yes.
Yeah, that place. I would like to confront Kiavo. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
on
I can allow
on,
that.
on lying, in a very nonchalant way, whilst we're traveling. I'll just say, Kiavo, you know lying's a sin, right?
I didn't claim to be perfect, nor claim to not be a sinner. I'm not some holy man.
Why did you want to lie to Furlock about what happened?
Because I thought it was best. I thought it was best for Wallen and for Furlock. It would be hard for anyone to know that someone couldn't bear to face someone they would consider a friend. That they just would subject themselves back into that because it's the better thing to do. I just thought to at least try to make it a bit easier on Wallen and Furlock too, I guess.
Hey Natasha, is it ever okay to lie?
Lying is an evil act, but if you are doing it for the sake of others, is it truly that evil?
See, Natasha said it herself. Kiavo, you're evil.
But first of all,
Can we
Sebastian,
just end right there?
I am no one's morality compass, so let's clear that up. I struggle with my own morality most of the times. And Kiavo, I don't think you're evil. You did what you had to do at the time.
I think we should.
would...
I'm going to end right there.
Wait.
No!
No, please.
No,
I want to spend 10 minutes and one action to write in the sky in clouds that Kiavo is evil.
You may do so, and the strong wind will blow it to Lord Valon. Why not? Regardless. Yeah, we are going to end there. I had planned for us to do all of that, have 2-week downtime, and begin heading to somewhere else. Well, thanks for your downtimes. We'll do those next week. Obviously, due to the nature of the roundabout route that the Unkonsarek is taking to Eladar, whereas you're taking the direct route, you'll have 2 or 3 weeks in Sandringham before you need to leave. That being the logical progression. Obviously, if the group chooses to head elsewhere, then that's absolutely fine. Nevertheless, on a more important note, MVPs, I come first to Rico.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Sorry. I seem to be lagging on my own screen here. Okay,
No,
I had to...
mine is as well. It's not just you.
Oh yeah?
It's fine.
Okay.
We can
long
hear
as
you.
me, that's fine.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I had 2 moments that I thought were my MVPs for
Mhm.
this session. The first one was, I think it was Ivan who said something like, "The way of the path, that's 2 roads in 1 sentence."
It was Ivan. Yeah.
Yeah.
That made me chuckle quite a bit. And then my second favorite moment was like this, when Furlock had gifted Natasha the slippers, and she's like reaching. I can see it in Natasha's head. I mean, in Bruno's head. Like, how can I justify accepting this gift without having to, like, owe something back in return? And she's just like, "I'll take this gift in kind for protecting Sebastian." And I was like, that's fucking so good.
So glad you got onto that because that's what was going on in my head.
No, I like
I
that.
saw it. You were like, how the fuck am I gonna even like accept this like gracious gift? Like, I want it so bad, but I don't really want to like.
Yeah, in character you don't want it at all, but as player, like you're just sitting there like boots, yay. Josh, you MVP.
She's like, oh, it's fucking chainmail, Jesus.
There was lots of funny moments. Mine is like it did happen this like is something that happened this episode, but we're not gonna see it until a lot later. But I'm really looking forward to the meeting between the UNT and the people,
Mhm.
humans.
Yep.
Because shit's gonna go down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm glad of that. Joe.
Well, for one, I want to give MVP to the fact that this was not a session where rolls were important because my 3 rolls were 2 1s and a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I like those
I thought that
episodes
didn't
personally.
save my life or something
Yeah.
important. Always good to fail a save against a spell that you were supposed to fail a save against. But also, MVP to the 5th watch, the one that we did not have to stop at. It's like, okay, we got the numbers now. Good, we can go right to the
Yeah,
strike
yeah,
second
I
one,
like
'cause
that.
That 5th one is going to be some sort of lunatic.
Yeah.
Hey, in all fairness, I reused the 5th one because that was Corporal Crag. So that's who
then
you
they're all
witnessed on the
one.
way back. Because I'd written him and I just thought, well, that makes sense. Let's just use him because he was like the eminently sensible. He was going to give you the answer like straight up as it was. So yeah, no, I really like that. Good, I'm glad. Jamal.
There was quite a lot of moments here. Shit, pinpointing one specific thing is difficult, but one thing that I think was pretty good is how we finally got Natasha to have some actual fucking armor. And having to accept it is like, no, you will accept the armor. You can't wear it. Too bad, you're gonna wear it anyway.
You'll grow into it, lad.
You'll grow into it. Yes.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Bruno.
Yeah, I think that was an interesting one. Natasha getting 2 gifts in one session because she's very humble. She doesn't like taking things like that. Me as a player, I'm greedy as fuck. I'm basically an item goblin. But that was nice. But I particularly enjoyed the moments with Kiavo and Sebastian in the tower. And at the beginning, I really liked the tavern scene. That was really funny to me. Obviously with Talia, Ayelet, and the party, that was really fun to watch.
Yeah, I enjoyed poking people with Natasha's mother.
Torin scared the shit out of Talia.
But yeah, no, I've got a few MVPs, also on the amusing front, and then one on the real front. I love the way that Natasha said that lots of things get hidden under rugs at war. I was just thinking, there's lots of rugs at war. Are there? Really? Okay, if you say so. When Torin wonderfully suggested, can we come inside? Perhaps outside, when realizing that Henrik no longer had a house.
It was so funny when Henrik said, actually, let's stay outside.
That was just beautiful. And then when Natasha said about Kiavo might die or worse, not be useful. I think you actually said lose his magic, but in my head it was just like, you can die and make a good character, or you could just not be useful and then we'd hate you forever. Yeah, I loved it. I just had this idea of this level 4 levels of wizard can't cast magic ever again. Yeah, I was loving that. But my biggest MVP goes to you guys and like how you expand every bit of role playing in session to like mean things, right? Because realistically, we could have left for the warfront maybe a couple of minutes after Rico got the letter, right? We could have bashed through the warfront, gone through the combat as it was, instead of like submitting, had the quick chat with them and then buggered off back, dropped in on Furlock, got teleported home, and we would have been done, right? An hour of session, and we would have then had our downtime and whatever, and instead everything was expanded to matter and mean things and be interesting and be fun to play through. And that's why Beldania is still level 4, but it's also why it's fun and interesting, right? A part of me was sitting there going, should I just give them a level for being cool and interesting and fun? And then I just think they're thinking, but they've done nothing today. Like, they've done nothing.
I refuse to believe.
Right, not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you. I stopped caring about levels because the encounters are really well balanced.
Yeah.
But we did do a diplomatic mission. We helped the guy with the
Did
book.
we?
did
You
a
got
lot.
knocked unconscious.
We had
Not
by
choice.
conundrum.
Got given some armor and some shoes. And
Two
then,
kings.
yeah, we
I
talked to two
I
kings.
just want Henrik to get one more point in intelligence so he can understand the book he was given.
What's your intelligence at?
Stuff, maybe?
7.
7?
I'm like ape level. I think an ape is 6.
Oh, tough.
I'm smarter than apparently Torin is smarter than Henrik at an 8.
Well, I did have something to give out today, but it wasn't intelligence.
No, I don't care.
Give us everything.
Everything. You want
I'm not big
everything,
on
yeah?
Speedy leveling.
By the
up,
way,
that matters.
I have a little MVP, which is the character growth of Kiava doing something off the books.
Yeah, that's true.
With the book.
Yeah,
Mhm.
with the aid of the book. Yeah.
Exactly. Under the influence.
You have to know the rules to break them.
However, my gift for you all today is a point in wisdom,
Oh.
as you have trafficked with.
Yeah!
We have trafficked with wise leaders, understood the meaning of the fogs of war. If you haven't got that, like, I've always wondered what fog of war is in video games, and like, I've always theorized, like, what is fog of war, and I just sort of, this has become a new meaning of fog of war, right? Nobody understands what's going on at the warfront because of the fog of war, which is the purple fog. Yeah, I love that thought. Sorry, it's beyond my line of sight. I don't know what's happening there. So for understanding all of that, and also just making wise decisions and wise choices, and becoming the diplomats as such. So I really like that. And a bonus to one particular player, which is Torin, for the gesture of remembering more than anything the neck gesture. I would like to give you a point in. Well, you can choose persuasion or not really deception, I guess. Yeah, I think I'll go straight up persuasion. I think that just makes sense. I want to give you a sort of interacting with others point. I suppose that's charisma, really, isn't it?
Kinda, yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not?
Go ahead and take a point in charisma. I really liked that touch.
Full point in
Yeah,
charisma? Okay.
yeah. Screw the point of persuasion. I really that. For me as a DM, the most rewarding thing is when people call back to things that you've given them. Because obviously at that point you've done something that interested them, right? Otherwise they wouldn't have remembered it.
I will say that from a player's perspective, it was like, something so memorable.
Yeah.
Right?
Which,
it was a sort of a profound moment in our group's sort of.
and as a DM, when a player calls back to that, it
Yeah.
it makes you realize you've done something interesting and
Yeah.
effective, and it's
Basically.
so rewarding for me. But also, it's intelligent play in like you're reusing what you've had in the past. Like even though it was like 5 weeks ago in real life, right? Your characters sort of immediately went to the gesture, and it was like I really like that. So yeah, brilliant, loved it.
Thank you.
Cool. With that, I think we will be off. Where are we going? That's a real question. We go to Asgard's a lot. We're gonna go to a place called Lawful Stupid RPG. Yeah, I mean, what a name. They are fantastic. I don't actually know what they do on Sundays. I never catch them on Sundays. I'm usually doing Beldania. So let's go and find out. Today is... Oh, they're doing a Dark Sun campaign. Okay, most interesting. So we'll head over there. I will, however, tell you that on a Monday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern, they do a Descent into Avernus. And it is so beautifully produced. So I really recommend them. They're wonderful people. So let's go there. If you guys would like to say goodbye,
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
we shall see you soon.